That's a good one. Oh my god. Oh my god. Seriously. Oh, there it is. It was like 6. No, what? Wait, what? Why? Did you guys? I thought it was 2 and then 1. You lose 2 and it's guaranteed, right? And look, it's. Oh, I didn't chart. Oh my god. I don't think I did I? I thought it did, but nope. I guess I didn't. Oh no. Okay, guys, this is where it fails. I didn't hit chart course. Yep, anyway. Oh well. I failed at life, I guess, guys.
Tell me why ain't nothing but a dose.
ニューストリームスタート。 サフティクマチェックスインよこそ。なんかワクワク。
Right_green_118 has claimed first. Yay.
そのストレッチ D チェックスインよこそ。
Son of Tragedy says hi.
One last pitch. Oh my god, I can't.
ハンナアンダーバーはステイ君123チェックスインよこそ。
Oops, wrong one. I hit the button. Oh my god. Oh my god. Unlimited heavy hitter special.
Okay, maybe full screen isn't
Rooms and 7 bedrooms, and that looked honestly like a mini mansion.
It broke. It broke again.
Hannah_Wastaken123 says hi.
chore to master your tongue. The grammar and syntax is relatively simplistic. We're being insulted by poo-poo. I'm 5 years old. Hello, I'm 5. Okay. Poo-poo speaks? Yes, apparently poo-poo. See, the last time we saw poo-poo.
So it's only 9:20. Oh, okay, okay. Well, I
They
hope
don't
you guys
have they don't have eternal bonding anymore.
This is so ridiculous. And here goes the
This is gonna look silly.
It's gonna look ridiculous. Oh my gosh.
Too bad they can't make my wings chirp.
I know, right?
Hi-fi.
Hi, Fi.
This is good. All right.
Oh no! It looked like you were gonna like eat the Moogle's head.
I neglected to mess.
Oh, wow.
My seat accepted by humanity.
I'm sorry. I've seen Anya punch.
I knew this part was gonna be hilarious.
Falcon punch. Oh.
Oh man.
Sorry, this is killing me. Itatsu punch. Yes, it is.
Hello!
Guys.
Happy Saturday, everybody, or what's Saturday? Hey, Bear, and congrats to Brighto on getting first, and hey, Hana, welcome back. And Tragedy, thank you so much for checking in.
アンドレセクティエットブチェッ
And
クスイ
Andre,
ンよこ
hello,
そ。
Andre. Yeah, we have a Safty today. Saturday. We call it Safter Day
Kuma.
because Safter Day is Safty Day.
Wait, something like that.
Yes, something like that. Anyway, I hope everybody had a good
Hannah underscore Wastaken 123 gives the panda a head pat.
Thank you for the head pat. Yeah, I hope you had a good because I know Bear, it's no longer Saturday, right? Right? Or Bear?
Yeah.
It's covering the name, so I moved you up.
Oh.
It's Sunday. It is Sunday for you. That's true. That's true. It's still Saturday here in the past. Us past dwellers are still dealing with Saturday. You are living in the future. You are totally a future dweller, aren't you? Safety. I don't know where to put you. Yeah. That there's the thing. Anyway, it's Saturday here as well. Oh, okay, it's still Saturday for you as well. Well, that's good. So I'm not the only one. We're not the only ones.
No, there's a
Safety
lot.
crisis. But yeah. So well.
Wait, crisis?
Huh?
Why is it a crisis?
I don't know. Well, Sunday in the U.S. is going to be Father's Day. Tomorrow's Father's Day for us. I don't know if it is everywhere else, but probably not. Because I know that Europe and some places, or at least what I've mentioned, they celebrate Mother's and Father's Day differently than we do. Panda doesn't know where to put you. Oh, that, yes.
Oh, I see.
Why he's smiling? Oh, he's always smiling.
My model was done by an incompetent artist and rigger.
Stop it, Safty. No, Safty drew and rigged his own model, so there's a lot of imperfections because, he was experimenting. He's not trained or anything like that. So there's a lot of things that are just like, even the slightest little opening, his mouth will just go wide open instead of just a little bit. Father's Day tomorrow for me as well. Yeah, okay. But yeah, we're gonna be
Wait,
discussing the
wait, why are
father
you
wound though.
telling me Happy Father's Day?
Safty's not a dad. But we're discussing the downsides of because some of us didn't have good fathers growing up. So, and I don't know, a lot of
Okay.
people don't actually know about the father wound, just like the mother wound. Last month we had a stream right before the U.S. Mother's Day where we talked about the mother wound. So now this is the father's wound. Now, where is my PlayStation 10?
My
There.
PlayStation 10. Go
Here,
ask
take some
Sony.
cookies. I know, right? No, I mean, but yeah, I mean, even though it is gonna be Father's Day, I mean, and it's fine if you have a good father, but some of us never got that, so it's kind of a painful reminder because
Here's our pinned message for
oh
the day.
yeah, we are not mental health professionals. We are only sharing information we found online and discussing our own experiences. This stream does not constitute mental health advice. Exactly. But happy Mother's Day. No, I'm not a mother.
Wait, what?
I
Wait,
am not a mother.
what? What? Wrong day. No, there's no such thing as a PlayStation 10.
I think they're just saying in the future or something like that. I don't know.
And
But yeah, we're going to be discussing the father wound like we did the mother wound. And it's basically just talking about all the little things that most people don't actually know about. And I didn't even know this existed until probably last year. I didn't know this was a thing, and it is a thing in the therapy world. So, um, it's more or less just a way to kind of share what we found out, and it may or may not help people because a lot of people don't realize that it's a thing and are constantly told things. I mean, if you hear familiar sayings like, "But they're still your parents. You owe them a lot." I've heard that so many times growing up, and I'm like, I would sit there and be like, "Well, but," and they're like, "No buts," you know? They just like, no buts, right?
I'm too cute to take seriously.
You really like your plushy bears, don't you? Because bear is also a bear, so.
Yes.
But yeah, Safety is adorable. I think they could be referring to you and Safety as mother and father online. Maybe. This is more a guess, so I'm not sure. Yeah, I understand, but yeah, we're just. That's not the point of the stream though, so I don't want to like. I guess I mean I'm not trying to demean or put down. It's just like I don't. It sounds bad because it's like kind of a really sad subject, but um, yeah, it's just one of those things where some of us just need to talk about it and share because it can help people, right? And I wasn't expecting even to help anybody during the mother wound thing because I didn't know anybody else experienced pain with their mothers because most people don't. I mean, Safety has a great mom. Many of the people that I grew up with talk about how great their moms are. I mean, nobody is perfect. I understand. I'm not talking about little disagreements or little tiffs or little, no, you can't do that. You can't go out night. No, I'm not talking about little things like that. I'm talking about downright abuse. I mean, like, I mean, I've mentioned many times that, like, my mom wishes I was never alive and wish I never existed. And she reminded me that almost every day. She would always tell me like I should have been dead. She wishes she could kill me, and if she could kill me without going to jail, she would do it. That kind of stuff, right? So that's what I'm talking about. It's like that kind of level of um, hearing that from your mom, but then everybody else around you are like, but she's still your mom. You know, you need to love her and respect her and take care of her and everything like that. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's okay. I didn't ask to be born. I, nobody asked to be born. Let's put it that way. And respect is earned, in my opinion. Um, if you want people to respect you, then you have to give them a reason to respect you. If they don't respect you, then, well, let them be, right?
Yeah, no, we talked about this a lot on the
Yeah,
mother,
we talked about this. I'm
mother
just kind of
wound stream.
recapping what the mother wound was.
Yes.
And it can really leave an impact on your life. I mean, for me, I still am. I'm still recovering. I mean, everybody's always going to be recovering from something, but um, I have very little like self-confidence in myself. I don't even know what I like anymore because anything that I did like growing up was always told, "Oh, that's a waste of time. You know, don't even bother." And like my mom's, I had my whole bedroom full of drawings that I did, right? I was really into drawing. I really loved drawing. I went away for a couple months to my Ai's house, and I came home to every single one of my drawings ripped up in a pile on the floor. My mom not only ripped it up, but she left it on the floor to show me that she did it. And she's like, "Go look in your room." I'm like, "Okay." So I go look in my room, and my walls are bare, and I'm like, and I look on the floor, and there's a big pile of my drawings on the floor, and I'm just like, "What?" You know, like, "Wait, what?" And she's like, "There. That's why you need to stop drawing," and stuff like that. So that's the kind of hate that my mom had. It wasn't just a little argument or a little tiff here and there. It was a downright hatred my mom had for me. And there are a lot of moms that suffer with what my therapist believes, because she can't diagnose her because she just never met my mom. But from my stories and everything, my side of the things, she thinks that my mom suffered from like postpartum psychosis, not postpartum depression, but
SGT
psychosis.
Striker 2023 adjusts
Hey,
panda's
Striker,
glasses.
welcome
Hey,
back.
Striker.
But yeah,
So,
like
SGT Striker 2023 adjusts
oh
panda's
yay, my
emotional
plushie.
support panda plushie.
yay,
Thank you,
plushies.
Striker. But yeah, like my mom suffered from postpartum psychosis, right? So um that means like she was psychotic. She was basically she blamed everything bad that happened to her life on me. She blamed on her baby, her child. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. And that's what my therapist has been trying to tell me. And I'm just like, but it doesn't make any sense. Why would you blame a child? And she's like, did you just hear what you said? I'm like, yeah. She's like, think about it. Why would she blame you, the child? And I'm like, I have no idea. So that's the kind of mother wound that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about like, you know, a little argument like you can't go out and, you know, you can't go out and do this, you can't have that cookie, you can't have that toy, something. I'm not talking about that, those little tiny disputes or arguments. I'm talking about outright hatred of your child, or the parent have a disgust for their child to where they make them feel like shit. Excuse my
yes,
language, but yes.
that's an extreme thing. So, and then the problem is for
Just
her
a quick
father.
reminder, if
Her
anybody
father also
needs to
blames
talk
Oh.
to
her mom
someone,
going
I'm
Hey,
crazy.
here
Sefty,
less
there's
than
TTS.
3.
Just if anybody needs to talk to someone, I'm here. Oh, thank you, Hannah. That's really nice of you. But yeah, I miss my dad every Father's Day. Exactly, and that's another kind of father wound though, Bear, that does take up part of it. It's just missing, you know, the father figure that, because
Reflex underscore Kuma wants Safety to put this on his head.
Wizard Head.
Oh yay!
Do you even have the stream on or no?
I do, but
Oh.
there's a delay.
Oh, okay.
You see it like 5 seconds before.
That's true. Okay. Sorry about that. But yes, yeah, and that's another kind of father wound, Bear. It's not that we're not just talking about the people that are, you know, mean and cruel to their kids, but also the fathers that are no longer with us. You know, that is also a father wound. It's just a different kind of father wound, which is not any worse or better, but it's still a father wound, right? So mental trauma can stay there one's whole life. Yeah, exactly, Bear. It's really traumatic, and I can't get out of it. And like I said, I spent the last like 43 years in a disassociated mode. You know, where you just kind of float through life and you don't actually feel anything, but you just kind of live it, and you just go with the flow kind of thing. But you don't retain the memories. It's like part of your brain shuts down. Like literally, it does shut down. There's, you know, different sections of your brain, like things like the hippocampus, the amygdala, the there's so many different parts of the brain that I don't really remember anyway, but I know those two because those are the two that my therapist talks about with me. One is like the alarm that sits there and goes, "Hey, that's dangerous," and the other one is like, "Oh, I'm gonna store that for later and make sure that you don't encounter that again in the future," right? So yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, Striker, welcome back. Thank you for the plushie and the glasses.
Yes.
And thank you, Bear, for giving Safety his wizard hat. As you already know,
Yes.
I have been named after my father, and that makes my life a living hell because of the constant comparisons. Yeah, and that's horrible though, Striker. Like that's just that's gotta be horrible. I hate it, and I hated him. Yeah, I totally understand. It's what my there's something. Okay, I know that people are like, why are you so full of hate or disgust or anything like that, and why are you so angry, kind of thing. It's like there's a difference between just a raging hate, like anger, but then there's also the righteous anger, like where you just have a reason, you have a very good reason to be angry at said parent because of what they put you through, right? Thankfully, my stepfather gave me a better memory of a father. That's good. That's good. Than
Yes.
my natural one, so I was able to provide. I hate my
So we think
Oh,
that.
Yoshi,
Oh
I'm
yes, thank
sorry.
you. So we think that for most people, this is probably a little more relatable.
Yeah, well,
Um,
my therapist said most people encounter a father wound rather than a mother wound because mothers don't tend to be hateful to their kids because they carry them for 9 months, right? And inside of them, inside their bodies, there's a bond there, right? My mom
mhm,
just kind of completely cut me off and just said everything is my fault. So there's a
yeah.
difference, and it's not as common. But father wounds are much more common. Even like I keep talking about how Safdie's mom is great. She's like your perfect little PTA mom that did everything for their kids.
Yes.
That did everything in her control and power to make sure her kids are thriving and well and enjoys life, right? Like
Yes.
what a mother is expected to do, right? My mom was not like that at all. And
No.
then, but his father, on the other hand, Safdie's father is a special case.
Well,
He's
yes,
a
and
he's a textbook narcissist.
yes. So, and I think, um, yeah. Obviously, we're not here to compare, but what Sergeant Stryker has gone through is definitely, in my opinion, in my
Yeah,
own personal opinion.
without like actually living through the life, but yeah, it
Yeah,
looks like
but
it's
yeah, I can't
worse.
really. But in my personal is a very, is a much more extreme case than my issues with my own father.
Yeah, but at the same time, we can't sit here and compare ourselves. Our stories are our own, and I
Yes.
want to make sure that everybody knows that you should never compare your story with another. Um, I mean, if you have it better than somebody else, then just be grateful in your heart. Just hold it in your heart and be like, I'm lucky that I had that, but don't rub it in, of course. Just be thankful that you didn't have what the other person have, but also reach out and be empathetic towards their situation and know that yes, there are people that are suffering. Don't sit there and gaslight them and say, "Oh, but that happened so long ago. You should forgive and forget." And I'm like, "No." You know how many
Yeah.
times I've heard that? You can't just forgive and forget. That's
Yeah.
not something that is in human nature, for one. And two, it's just because that other person tells you that they don't connect to the situation like you do. They don't feel your feelings. They don't feel what you went through. They didn't witness what you went through. And and this is the biggest thing, even when siblings do that to you, because siblings will do that to you, because guess what? Parents pick favorites, right? It's human nature to pick favorites, and it's not just like our own kids or our own parents, but we pick our favorites with our friends. I mean, our chosen family, quote unquote, is people that we pick that we want to be around, because they align with our thoughts, they align with how we feel about something. So that is very different. We
Yes.
get to choose those people. We don't get to choose our parents, we don't get to choose our siblings. And and because it goes both ways, they choose who their favorites are. They will baby that favorite. They will make them happy. I have a younger sister that has a whole different experience than I do. And I've had people from the outside, like family friends, go to me and go, "But your sister is fine. So what's wrong with you?" It's always like, "What's wrong with you? Your sister is perfectly fine. She grew up in the same house with the same parents, but she's fine."
Yes.
And it's like,
And I don't my so one time when I was ironically traveling with my family.
hmm
It was years and years ago. We visited my dad's aunt.
maybe turn on your light thing because your mouth is not registering.
Oh, my light is off, isn't it?
Yeah.
We were visiting my aunt,
Uh-huh.
and she was complaining. She didn't know why one of her sons, so one of my dad's cousins, was well. He had he had issues. Like I think he had been to jail and was an alcoholic, and she couldn't. She's like, I'm sure she basically was saying, I'm sure I raised all my kids the same, and I'm like thinking back, I'm like, no, you might. Some parents convince them. Some parents admit they have favorites, but some try to convince themselves that they don't have favorites. But that's not true. I know we all know that your parents have favorites, and
Mm-hmm.
your parents, each parent may have a different favorite than the other one.
Exactly. And in Safdie's family case is very much the truth. Like his mom favors him, his dad favors his sister. And in my family, my dad just didn't favor any of us. He just whatever. He was so cuz he's a war vet, and he I believe struggled with a lot of, PTSD. So he was just very disconnected from everybody. He had no emotions. He never cried, he never laughed, he just got angry, but he never cried or laughed. He just suffered in silence kind of thing. My mom had her favorite. She picked my sister, so my sister
Yeah.
was your textbook golden child. So sorry, we're missing some chat. He married my mother when she was 14. Wait. Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's right. I remember you mentioning that about your mom and your biological father, and he was 24 and treated her like his child and slapped. Yeah, that's horrible. Yeah, I can see why that's not fair to you that they just because you look like that. I don't even want to say a human being, that monster. That it's not fair that they channeled everything, all the hate onto you. That's not your fault. It's not like you chose to. No, not only did you not choose to be born, it's not like you choose how you look, right? So that makes no
Right.
sense. I'm sure it's very hard for you to forget, and I'm sorry that happened. Exactly, I am really sorry that happened to you, Striker, and it's painful to even read that. It's just like I can't believe that. Ugh, like people are disgusting. But yeah, I hated him because of all the blatant abuse. I grew up hating him, and then I had the chance to nearly slit his whole throat because of his striking my mother in front of me when I was 28. I wouldn't blame. I
Right.
mean, I'm glad it didn't I don't think it happened that way, but I'm glad it didn't happen that way because uh, unfortunately, the law doesn't see like what you go through, and that can lead to really bad consequences with your own life. Unfortunately, I wished that there was a way for stuff like that to come out, but because of the fact that if you end up taking somebody's life, they don't get a chance to explain themselves, or even if they lied, they just take the favor of the person that is, not there anymore, which is not fair. I don't like that method, but again, I have no control over that. And I'm sorry, that is horrible. Yeah, my dad was just absent. He was just dead inside, basically, literally. He was just a walking corpse, if you ask me. He didn't interact with any of us. Um, but yeah, I just don't think he would ever get the respect from me at all for the stuff that he has done to my mother. Oh, exactly, Yoshi. Yeah.
Exactly.
And then that's horrible. Some fathers are just despicable beings. I mean, they're monsters. Um, I would think, I know it sounds weird, but my mom was more the monster in this case than my dad. My dad was
Yeah,
just
your
kind
dad
of,
was just kind of like his problem was that he blamed you for your
yeah,
mom
my
going
dad
crazy
blamed
and pushing her out.
me. That's why I can't have a relationship with my dad. My dad blames me. He blames me. That the only thing he came out with was like, it's your fault, and I'm like, what? Just one day I went to visit him in 2010, and then he's like, it's your fault, and I'm like, my fault? Wait, it just came out of nowhere. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, it's your fault your mom went crazy. And I'm like, I just sat there. I'm like, okay, dinner's here. And I don't remember anything after that. I completely shut down. Like, that's what my therapist says. I completely shut down. So that's as painful as that my dad will get. It's just when he told me he blames me for my mom going crazy. And I'm like, wow. I nearly killed him and I would have lost a moment of sleep over it. I don't blame you, Striker. I don't. He sounds like a horrible piece of piece of yeah. I'm trying not to swear, but he does sound like a horrible piece of work. How's that? But I don't know. And I'm sorry that you went through that. That's Abusive fathers are very common, unfortunately, and just horrible. And I think it's a lot of repressed their own. They endure their own repressed like traumas, because I think a big problem with society these days is that men are not allowed to express anything but like I'm big and strong, and um, they're not allowed to cry, they're not allowed to talk about their feelings, so a lot of things are repressed, and that's been in society for millennia, right? I mean, everybody, there's that saying, like, okay, be a man, or buck up and stop being a crybaby, or stop being a girl, or like a
Yeah,
lot
that
of
sort of thing.
the toxic masculinity stuff. So I'm not excusing your dad. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there's a big part that plays into this. And I do not agree with this at all. I think men and women both can equally be who they are, as long as you don't hurt anybody. I mean, obviously. Um, but you should be able to be who you are, no matter what your birth gender is. You should be who you are. I know there's a lot of men that I knew that acted more feminine than I did. They love makeup. They do dress up and stuff. I'm not into that at all. And then there's a lot of women that are more masculine than men that I know. It doesn't matter what gender you're born in. You should just be who you are. And a lot of men are told not to do that, and they are shunned and shamed and made fun of and mocked if they even try to. So the toxic masculinity, I think, plays a huge part in a lot of traumas for men in
Yeah.
general.
Okay,
Anyway,
you want
sorry.
to start with an article?
Wait, hold on. I need to chat. I didn't mean to go
Oh,
off on a rant. Sorry. I want to read
no, no.
chat real quick, and then I will
Yeah,
go to the
okay.
article. I knew. Yeah, sorry. After I shifted home and to a new country after my father's passed away, more like I shifted with my mom's once again. Oh, okay. Environment and all was just didn't match. I was mentally down for a year. Oh, I still miss him hard. At times I feel like if he were here, I would have been in a better place. Yeah, and see, that's another, like I was saying, that's another kind of father wound. And most father wounds are just from abusive fathers or absent fathers. And then I mean, absent in two different ways. Absent even emotionally or physically or both, kind of thing. Mine was emotionally absent, but in Bear's case, Rathlex, and I call Rathles Kuma likes to go by Bear, by the way. So if I say Bear, I mean him. um, Bear's case is, yeah, he lost his father through death and unwantedly. So there are some people that have good relationships with their fathers, and then their father leaves too soon. So like because an untimely death kind of thing. And that's really, really hard and depressing and can be really hard on an individual as well. And that leaves a father wound in your heart. It's like in your heart, it's like your feelings. Father wound can either just never have been there, or it could have been there at one point and then it's gone. I know there's some people that had fathers that were really, really good to them as kids. And I've heard stories of them getting ill, getting really sick, getting cancer, going through chemotherapy, going through all sorts of stuff. And then their whole personality changes. And they
Yeah.
are completely different people. And so that's a father wound too. They lost their father because it's not the father they grew up with, right?
Right.
So there's so many different instances of a parental wound. It can be mother or father, but I'm just saying in general there are all sorts of different wounds, and not one wound is going to be the same. They're just going to be kind of categorized, and you kind of just fit into a kind of a category kind of thing, unfortunately. But something I constantly say when people say, "Oh, just forget and forget," forgive and forget, is forgiveness is a choice, and I have chosen not to forgive. That's a good way of putting it, Hannah. Thank you. I'm sorry I'm behind on chat. I was just rambling, but yeah, that is a good way of putting that, Anna. Thank you. I am just mentioning that I was being hurt and I didn't like it. Oh, totally. Yeah, totally. I wouldn't like it either. I'm glad Frank gave me a better experience, even though he was my step. And that's the thing. It doesn't matter if they're not if they're blood related or not. If you have a strong father figure in your life, that's still a father, right? I know many people that never really met their biologic father but had stepfathers. They can either go either way, right? They can be very supportive and loving, or they can be abusive too. So I don't think a mother or father. Well, okay. Most times when we refer to a mother and mother wounds, we mean our biological mother, but it can apply to
Yeah.
adopted, step. Yeah. So I'm glad that you had a decent father figure in your life, and that's
Yeah, but
good.
if you still have memories of your birth parents,
Oh, of course, and that can override everything. So.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's experience is
Oh,
different.
and he passed away. Oh, I introduced
Yeah,
him to
everyone's different.
as my father to my wife 2 days before he died. Oh. Well, I'm glad that you had a good relationship with your stepfather, and that's very important. But unfortunately, I mean, like you said, you're a bit older, right? When he came in your life, like 14. So the biggest impacts on mother and father wounds come from childhood. It's not saying it doesn't happen in later in life, but mother and father wounds develop younger in age. That's when they really hit in, and that's when they will sink in and sit inside of you for the rest of your life, because that's your developing years, right?
Oh, when you were 5. Okay.
Oh, 5. Okay, so never mind. So you did have him in your life for a while, but yeah. So sorry, I mistook it. I'm still behind on chat, so I'm still scrolling. But yeah, mother father wounds tend to develop in childhood. Just so you know, just to clarify, it's not that it doesn't start later in life, but most of it is developed in childhood. I'm just mentioning that. Oh, sorry. That's how I honored the person who raised me. Yeah, there you go. Of course, that makes sense. Hot pies will be in the oven in 5 minutes. Yay! It's
Yay.
preheating. Awesome, awesome. My thoughts on that are you high? Oh, you may have been raised us the same, but our experiences were not the same. Exactly. And that's also that it's not just the favoritism that I was talking about earlier, but each child processes things differently. No two children are going to be alike, even
Yeah.
twins. Even
Hmm.
even like, I mean, I'm talking about identical twins. Not even twins are exactly alike. So
Yeah, that's true.
you everybody will process things differently.
And
Nobody has
yes,
the same temperament or personality as the next child.
and you're and of course when you were born also does matter. My parents had, I mean, I was only 5 at the time, but my parents had a lot more money when my sister was born than when I was born, right?
Yeah, 5 years is a long time as far as that can go.
Right, especially back then. I'm gonna post the article link
Oh,
here.
okay.
I
I'll
think I'll start.
switch.
I think I'll start
Oh,
with
wait,
this one.
don't you want to do one word story first, or you want to do that on a
Maybe
break?
I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that to lighten the mood later.
Oh, okay. Sorry, and then I'll hide it then because I have it up already. No, that's not the one. Sorry, I had this going, but Safety wants to read the article first. So is this the article that you're going with first?
No, no. I think I'm gonna start with. I think I was gonna start with. I know this says in daughters, but I was gonna start with this one because I thought some of the things it says are interesting.
See, Edge is not playing the music again, Safety.
I don't know why Edge is doing that.
Hold on a second. I'm sorry. I'm
It
trying to
like
I'm trying to see what's going on. Yeah, see, it's not playing. It's even though I chose it. So why is it not doing this?
I don't know why it stops doing it randomly.
It's not random though.
It works when we test it, and then it stops working
Yeah,
again.
it works offline, but it doesn't work online.
And wait a minute, do I have a ping tuber behind my back?
Oh my God, you do. Sorry, it's because from last night.
That's an imposter, Safety.
Hold on a second. I'm trying to fix something. Um, I'm just gonna play it back here then, I guess. I don't know. Does it still play? I don't know why it's not playing.
I have to. I don't hear. I don't hear
Okay.
it. Oh wait,
How,
now I hear it.
okay, I need to turn it down a bit though. Is it okay?
Hmm.
Is it still too low?
It's good now. No, it just wasn't playing.
Yeah, but is this better? Is this, or
Yeah,
is it drowning us out?
it's fine. I
What,
think
which
it's fine.
article did you want to? I'm sorry.
I was starting with that other one that I linked in chat.
This one?
Yeah,
Okay,
just
hold on.
because it does say something interesting, and I think in its opening paragraphs that I have some commentary on.
Well, the thing is like it's so loud in my ear, and I need to turn that down because it's just really loud in my ear. All
Yeah.
right, sorry. I'm gonna keep going on chat. My thoughts are that they are high. Yeah, I know your father was absent, your mother was aloof, and wished you had not been born. Have I told you previously my mother passed in 2016, my natural father in 2015? Oh, okay. I was not aware that both. I mean, I knew you said your mother had passed, but I didn't know your father had passed. So yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry for um. So you really have lost all your family. Okay, sorry. Yoshi says, like I just know he tried to kill. Oh my gosh, when I was 2 years old, my brother was 4, and he was absent for like 10, 14 years of my life. Then I have my own reasons, which it's amazing that you remember that, and that's probably how traumatic that was. Which are mostly him not trying to visit his kids more, or even just try to do something else for his own kids. Just pissed me off that he didn't try at all and just gave his money and his time with his brother's kid. Wow, that's like salt on the wound. Spending time with not even his own kids and just spending time with your cousin. That's horrible. I'm sorry, Yoshi. Yeah, and it's fine to not like anybody. It's fine to establish good boundaries. That's one thing that shows you have a strong father wound is if you're not able to establish boundaries. But if you are able to, then you have overcome that wound. And not saying it's not there, but you've overcome it and you are able to establish your boundaries and put your foot down on what to do when. So that's a good sign. That's a good sign. My mom loves me, but honestly, just keep her happy all in all. There are times even now I had to act even perfect, even though I feel like I'm crying. Feel like I'm crying for how things escalate, and I can't. And over the years, I forget how to show I am sad or, other emotions other than smile hard. Aw. My mom at times says words that hurts bad. Yeah, of course. But I just ignore. She's nice, but at times it just gets bad here and there. That makes sense because you don't have anybody to like. I guess if your dad was that person that kind of helped you, get through things, and your mom is just taking the death really hard too, and just has no way of being empathetic towards you. I can see that being rough. Bear, I can see that being rough. Oh, hey, Zarek. Sorry. Howdy, you're all cute. I would give you all the hugs if I could. Well, thank you, Zarek. Sorry if I missed you earlier, because I know I'm like, wow, I'm like 6 minutes behind on the timestamp. He entered my life when I was 5. Oh, okay, okay. Even though I sacrificed a lot, even with my life choices and health, my mom never acknowledged that. Oh, that's gotta be rough. Yeah, because you gave up a lot to help her out, right?
Hmm.
Yoshi, I'm very surprised you were able to remember that. I would have thought your subconscious would have suppressed it. For the most part, some people do, Striker. A lot of people do suppress things like traumatic memories like that. But then some people do recall things that, and it just sits in them. And also, since Yoshi has an older brother, they probably have mentioned it. Maybe they've talked about it. They can relive things through others, while just being there and being young enough. Yeah, it just depends on the narrative that they hear from their sibling, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, anyway, yeah, hi, Sarek. But yeah, I think I caught up. All right, so Safty's gonna be reading this. I don't know if the music's too loud. Can you tell me, Safty?
I think it should be fine.
It's fine. Oh, sorry, Bear. Okay. And Panda, for how you share your story with us, and we see how you are doing now. I'm happy you are somewhat moved on. Um, there's a reason why I see my therapist every week,
The
so
music's muted. It wasn't muted earlier.
is it muted?
I can hear it.
Wait, it's muted? It should
I can
be. It's
hear it.
showing that it's showing it's
I hear.
playing.
I hear it.
It's very soft. Very, very soft.
Yeah, it's soft, but I
Uh,
hear it.
and how you doing? I'm happy somewhat moved on. I am sorry for what happened with you. You are strong, even if it's little. I don't know if I'm strong, but thanks. You are. There are always someone loves you from the heart, no matter what. I know even here who are watching who loves you. Thanks, Bear. Thanks for being the person that you chose to be. What to be. Thanks for
It's
existing. You are precious and making. Well, that's sweet, but I'm still working on a lot. I'm not. Please don't ever put me on any kind of pedestal. I am not perfect by any means. I get really upset at little things because it reminds me of things that happened when I was little. Like recently, my big thing that I have butted heads with some people is I don't like being told how to play a game. I don't like being told that I'm doing something wrong when I'm just trying to have fun. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes any sense, but there's a lot of people out there on the internet, especially that like sit here and say you need to play this game this way. If you don't play it this way, then you're wasting your time, and stuff like that. But I'm like, what, why am I wasting my time? I'm having fun. This is what I want to do. This is my time and this is my life. Why, who are you to tell me that this is wrong, right? That's what I don't like. I think everybody should play how they want, when they want, as long as it's not hurting anybody else, of course. I'm not talking about the trolls and the jerks that sit there back in the day. And for instance, like in Genshin Impact, when you loot the tree, the tree would just release the loot, you know? So there would be people that play Venti that would push the loot off the tree and then you lose your loot, right? And I'm not talking about that kind of jerk stuff. I'm talking about don't do things like that's why we can't have nice things. Anyway, that's why they changed it so that when we go to the tree to loot the item from the domain, you get it right in your bags. There's a reason for that. It's just because the jerks that would push it off the edge. Anyway, it is soft but not overwhelming in the discussion. Oh, okay, I'm glad, Striker. No, that's what I meant. Not overly loud. I don't want it really loud. I just want something in the background while we're talking. You've helped me out in so many. I have. I don't think I have, but I'm glad. I guess, Bear. But I don't see how I would have. But no one is perfect. You are good as you are. Perfection is a myth. It is. Perfection is definitely a myth.
Okay.
Here, Wrath. Yeah, exactly. And no,
Hang
it
on,
does.
I need to step
Oh,
away now.
sorry, Safety. Go ahead. No, it does. It's just kids don't understand what fun is anymore. Yeah, exactly. People think, especially what I noticed lately online, people find it fun to see other people suffer. And I think that is wrong. And yeah. Well, like for example, and this is more like for people that have been here around in this community for a while, like Yoshi. There's some people that I don't talk to anymore because they fed the narrative of it wasn't this past year, but last year's Mother's Day. Uh, she told me that my mom is still my mom and I should still love her. And I have no right to I have no right to not speak to her and not have a relationship with her. That she still gave birth to me and she still loves me. And I'm like, "No, she doesn't. Are you projecting?" Is what I was like thinking in my head. I'm like, "Are you just projecting because that person has a very nice mother?" And some people just can't see outside of the window in their box and everything like that. So I don't speak to people. I put my foot down on that. I put my foot down on people telling me I can't play the way I want to play. I'm not hurting anybody. I look like an idiot maybe when I don't do what everybody else is telling me to do. I've never been one to go by the book and do what I mean, yes, I'm a rule follower. I'm not talking about rules. I'm talking about um dress this way because all the cool kids are dressing this way or like this band because everybody else is liking this band. I've never been one of those people that bought into that mindset, and I don't like how people dictate how other people should play a game, should live their life and everything like that. So that's why I don't speak to certain people if you suddenly see me not speaking to people. And this is why I also don't like it when people start suggesting who to raid into when I'm like looking through the list because there's a reason sometimes I'm like, "No, that's okay. I'm not going there." Even though I talked a lot about them and I hung out a lot with them, it's just that one little encounter with that person will say something just no. I'm putting my foot down and I'm like, "No, I am not going to do that." And they didn't live my life, I didn't live theirs. So they can't assume that my life is like theirs and vice versa. And I hate that. I just hate that when people do things like this. It's just like whatever, you know? I'm glad that your mom loves you and your mom's a good person and your mom's a good mom, but mine isn't. So stop projecting onto me. Don't tell me that I need to go love my mom and that I need to do something special for her because she brought me into this world. I'm like, I didn't ask to be brought into this world. Don't put me in that place. I'm sorry. Anyway, That's my big huge. I know this is gonna be a big rant fest today, and I'm sorry, but that's why I just don't like when people are like so and so's streaming, and I'm like okay, that's nice, but I no, if I do ask, then I do ask, um, hey, does anybody have any suggestions? But if I don't ask, or if this applies to I think every streamer, if they don't ask, don't suggest, because you never know what happened between them, or if there's anything, you know what I mean? So I'm just saying, there's a reason why I cut off a lot of people. It's not that I'm trying to be mean. I just cut them off because we can't see eye to eye. I'm not going to waste my energy to convince them otherwise because they've already made up their mind. And when they're fighting back with me or they're telling me that I need to do this, they've already made up their mind. There's no discussion, unfortunately. And that's what I've learned over the last, 20 some years. Uh, and that if they fight you on something and they are adamant on their position on it, there's no room for discussion. They're set. They're set. And it's just like there's no budging. Um,
Sorry.
Zarek share when ready? No pressure. Oh, I would share, but I am new here. Quite shy. No, Zarek, it's okay. Sorry, I don't. I'm sorry. I am trying to get to chat, but when I get really focused on what I'm talking about, I tend to just go off. So I'm sorry. I apologize. But yes, if you have a father wound story to share, by all means. Everybody's just leaving it here. Sometimes it just feels good to just talk about, even if it's not super detailed. Um, a father wound is really impactful in our life, and we'll show you in these articles that a father wound is a real thing. Most people don't know about this. Same as with a mother wound. It's a real thing, and it impacts us because it happens during our developing years. um, it's the primary caregivers in our life. It can be adopted, or it can be step adopted or your biological parent. It just or anything. It just whoever was your main caregiver during your developmental years, how they treated you will greatly impact who you are in your adult life. Period. That's how it is. um, Okay, sorry. Bear says, I know you know better than me. No, 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 no.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I don't know better than anybody, Bear. Please. There's no such thing as that. I think we will always learn until the day we die, that we will always be learning something. So I don't think anything can be set. I think everything is up for discussion. And if there's anything that I ever say that you don't agree with, anybody, if you don't agree with something, I'm willing to talk about it. I'm not set in my life. I mean, like I said, I mean, there's some things like I don't like being told how to play. I think people are entitled to play the way they want to play. And you can't, I mean, there's some things that I just don't budge on because I think everybody should be flexible and not take everything for, nothing is set in stone. How's that? There's a reason why we have um, what's it called? There's the push and pull. What's it? The the
Huh?
term, the push and pulling of things where it
Give and take.
give and take, everything
Like,
changes. There's always everything's a flow, right? Everything just kind of goes, and it can come and it can go and come and go. So yeah, anyway.
you have to read the. What the hell?
Sorry,
What the hell?
I'm still reading. I'm still reading.
What the hell is that?
Um,
What the hell is that?
huh?
That, that pepper. What the frick?
I'm not there yet. Sorry, I'm back on Bear's comment. But you know well and hard that when one seeks perfection are the people who are delusional and don't know reality works. Exactly. Thank you, Bear. That's true. Yeah, again, there's no such thing as perfection. And I used to be a perfectionist too, so I know looking back at it, there was no way of but people develop that mindset when they want to please somebody like a parent, and nothing they do is good enough, so they feel like, oh, I'm not good enough, so I need to up my game. I need to do something different. I need to make sure everything's perfect, right? How you helped, well, I will tell you later, not in chat. Okay, thank you, Bear.
Okay.
Yes, one who says this are complete ignorant in the world and situation. They're delulu. See, this delulu thing is new. I think that means delusional. So with no, so what's so lulu? If I may, Wrath, I believe she helps because she gives voice to something most would not talk about unless they're paying $40 an hour to a psychiatrist. Pretty much, yeah. I wish it was only $40 an hour. Uh, I see my therapist once a week for an hour, and I pay a lot more than that, unfortunately. Could be one of the reasons. And hi, Sun Loops, welcome back. Sorry, I'm rambling, so I'm a little behind. I'm 6 minutes behind the timestamp right now. Yeah, which I highly disagree with a lot. Just because they gave birth to you doesn't give them the pass for stuff that they've done to you or their own child. Yeah, any parent doing that to their child. It's not just my family or my situation. I think parents make the choice to be parents. Yes, sometimes you don't because like I've been raped and I ended up pregnant. I didn't choose to be, but I knew I wasn't going to be a good mom at 19 years old. And a family friend wanted to adopt. I didn't want to put them in the system because I know the system's messed up too. But a family friend wanted to adopt them, so the family friend adopted them. So that's fine. And I knew that that would be better, that the child would be better off with a more stable parent than just me who could barely take care of myself. So I was thinking for the child, not so much for me, even though now I can never have kids because I had a hysterectomy. But and in also the fact that both Safety and I are asexual, we don't participate in any of that. Um, but a part of me was like, once you have something inside you growing for 9 months, you kind of wonder what it would be like to actually raise a child, And then wait,
Ow.
oh my god. I don't know who that was. I'm sorry, I'm still
It
catching up
was
on chat. Yeah, which I
it
highly
was
disagree with. Oh,
Bapping.
sorry.
Thank you, Bapping.
Huh?
Thank you, Bapping.
Bapping?
It
Oh,
was
thank
Bapping.
you, Bapping. Thank you for the. Oh, wow. Thank you for 10 months. Just driving by real quick to say 10 months. Good luck with stream. Thank you, Bapping. I know this is not for everybody. I agree. Sorry, I feel like it dropped it. No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You're totally fine. Um, don't worry about that. Sorry about that. We are just talking about because tomorrow's Father's Day, so some of us have father wounds, and I wanted just to, discuss this. Um, I mean, she feels homely. Wait, despite being in a public forum, I enjoy talking about it because I can see that I am not alone, the only one. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing, Striker. It's more or less like opening this place up to feel like we aren't alone, right? She feels like I love you. I wish I could give you a big, huge bear hug. That's so sweet, bear. Arms are open. Yes, there you go. Yeah, it was mostly from my brother and mother telling me. Oh, okay. So you probably subconsciously remember a little and you just filled in on things. It's really sad that, that you have that figure in your life too. It's just that's miserable, it really is. Anyone that is willing to help directly or indirectly is also welcome to me because your heart is in the right place. Exactly, Striker, exactly. Thanks for sharing. It helps to settle down. Yeah, yeah. And to read the whole text though. Oh, did I miss something? Sorry. I think I got everything. I hope. Oh my god, is that what you're talking about? That is a weird emote, Reaper.
Yes, that weird ass emote, which I'm like,
Um, that was probably not appropriate for what we're doing right now. Please, there's a time and place for some things that was a little disturbing. A
yeah, it's
chattering
like what
pepper.
I'm still not sure what the heck
Yeah,
she meant
that
by that.
that that didn't have a time or place. Bapping's fine, but that didn't have a time or place. Like, wait, what? That was weird. I had to scroll past that. Anyways, but thank you, Bapping, again. Thank you so much for 10 months. I really appreciate it. Like, I really, really do appreciate it. A bit heavy for me right now. Got to go. Yeah, no worries, no worries. Oh, thank you, Bapping. I appreciate it. Shoulder pat might be better. Thank you, Bapping. Have a great rest of your day. Take care of yourself. But yes. Anyway, um, I just noticed it has been 1 hour since I started, and ads will kick in soon. So I was thinking, and I also need to use the little panda's room. So I was thinking I was gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna come back, and Safty's gonna read this article if that's okay with you guys. Yeah, okay. So make sure you guys take a break as well. Get up, stretch, go use the restroom, get some water, get some food, something. Break time. Yes, break time. Thank you so much. And I will take a break as well. Good, good, good. Yeah, take a break and get whatever you need, and then we'll resume. Oh yeah, pot pies. There you go. We'll resume this conversation after. And yeah, thank you, son. Thank you. I will be right back.
Yes. Oh no. No, 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 no.
What is this?
More devil
Oh
is
no!
what it is.
No! No!
Hold on. Yes.
Holy shit!
Come on. No.
High five! Holy crap!
Yay.
I don't know how I did that, but it's right down there, Rafe.
Skills.
It's right down there.
Skills.
Get it in there. Yes, you did it.
Yay.
Congrats, you guys.
That was much fun.
That was crazy.
With 6 bedrooms and 7 bathrooms, and that looked honestly like a mini mansion. What?
It broke. It broke again.
I understand location is a huge factor on price, but still, the fact the price difference.
Wait, what are you doing to my boy?
Oh no! Oh my god!
No,
Oh my
no.
god! I
It just killed me.
I didn't mean to do that. I did not know.
Oh my God.
Ah!
Oh no.
I didn't know it was gonna go. Oh my god! I'm so sorry, Ollie. Oh my god!
Oh no. No, my no.
Oh my god!
I can't tell.
Sacrifices. I did like a triple, like double sacrifice on some of them. I feel kind of bad. Wow. Okay. I guess that's the way to go. Oh my god! What the? Be right back. I'm gonna go I'm serious. What is happening? Oh, it's only 9:20. Oh, okay, okay. Well, I hope you have a
They
good
don't have
Saturday.
Sarah.
Hello. Hello, we are back. Do you want me to move you over, Safty?
I think I'm fine. I don't
Fine
know.
right there. Okay.
Every site has its own layout.
Oh, and hey, Race and Cow. Thank you so much for being here. How are you guys? Happy Saturday. Today we were talking about a kind of a dark, I wouldn't say darker so much as sadder.
Oh,
I don't know what's a good term for this.
It's a more serious business.
Serious kind of topic. We're talking about
Yes.
the father wound. Oh, and thank you, Yoshi. And the different ways it shows up in our life. And just to clarify, a father wound is basically the wound that the father figure, it can be step, it can be adopted, it can be biological, but it's like the wound that the father figure in in your life gave you during your developmental years. So if you had one, if you had a father wound, but it also can impact you in other ways, like if you lost your parent, um, you know.
Bisiminger gives the teddy bear a head pat.
Oh, you get a Ted Pat, Safty.
Yeah, sorry. My sound's acting weird, so I was trying to fix it.
Your sound is acting up.
Yes.
And thank you for the head pat, Biz. How are you? Welcome back.
Hopefully that works.
Just wanted to make you laugh. Oh wait, you guys may think I'm weird. But you all took a break. I did the dishes. Oh no, that's fine. That's fine. I'm glad you're able to be productive.
Clean the dishes. Cleaning dishes is good.
That's something that Safty likes to do is dishes when he has nothing
And
else
thank
to
you
do.
very much for the head bat.
Yay! Thank you for the head pats. But no, that's a good break. That's a
Bisiminger
good
gives
break.
the panda a head pat.
Oh, thank you, Biz, for the head pats. Yay, head pat.
Yay, head pats, head
But anyway,
pats, head
yes. So
pats.
we're back and we're gonna be reading the first article that I found. Well, Safty's gonna be reading it, so you can take it
That's
away.
uh,
Wait,
so-
wait. Hey, person.
sorry. The article that I was looking at was the
Oh, wait.
father wound.
バーソ
What
ン
is it and how to
56 チ
heal?
ェック
Oh,
ス
that
インよ
one.
こ
Okay,
そ
that one. You read them. Oh, wait. Is it? No. It's this one? Wait, which one
No,
are you looking at?
that one.
Okay, okay. Because I'm confused which. I thought you had something else on your screen earlier, so that's what I went to that one.
Yeah, I'm
But thank you
looking
for
at different
checking in, A
ones.
person. I hope you're doing well. Happy Saturday to you, or was to you, future dweller.
Yeah.
Today we are discussing the father wound and how much it can impact our lives and
サン
stuff.
ノー
Oh,
プ
and
ス
thank
チ
you,
ェッ
Sun,
ク
for
スイ
checking
ンよ
in.
こそ
Yeah, happy Saturday, Cow. So if it's too much for you, I mean, I understand. So you don't feel obligated to be here. We're just talking about how much and how different father wounds can vary. The biggest, I think, the worst kind of father wound are the abusive kind. So Um, and I had ranted about it earlier. I think, and I'm not excusing anybody's abusive father for their actions because they still ultimately have a control over what they do. Um, but I think the biggest problem that contributes to abusive fathers is our society and the toxic masculinity that goes around, where society depicts and tells how males should be in society. And if you are any other way, if you don't meet up to um, society's uh, depiction of what a man should be, then you're shamed and you're mocked and you're ridiculed. And so a lot of people have to repress themselves just to be accepted in society. And that usually leads to multi generational traumas that can impact the rest of your family, right? So
hmm
that's what I think is the biggest problem as far as especially with father wounds. But again, I'm not excusing any abusive fathers about that, but I think that is a major part in why we have such a screwed up society. Anyway, I hope that makes sense if where I'm coming from. But yeah, the other article was the same for Mother's Day. Yeah, I think so. I think there's it's the same site, it's the same website, but they have different articles for different places. Hey
Yeah.
Panda, how are you? I have exciting news. Hi Cole. Hi Colevo, I remember now your name. How what's your exciting news and happy Saturday to you? That makes sense. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Cal. I mean, again, you don't have to agree with me. I just think one of the biggest problems with the way people is because of the expectations placed on them, which can be, I don't know, some of them are just completely ridiculous. My boyfriend invited me to the movie theater to watch and say, "Oh, okay. Well, I hope you have fun. I hope you enjoy it." I don't know what that is. I have not been keeping up with anything movie wise, so I'm sorry I'm a little behind on that. But I hope you have fun. Going out to movies with your loved one is always it can be always a good treat. I haven't been to a theater in like 5 years. So this is even before COVID. I don't theaters are just loud and annoying to me. I prefer watching movies at home where it's quiet, as quiet as I want to be. And oh yeah, and I can pause it if I need to use the restroom. I hate going to theaters when because I this might be TMI, but once a woman has a child, their muscles in certain areas are shot and they cannot hold and they have a very hard time containing their pee. So that's why I'm always having to get up and go to every hour because it's just like it's really that bad. It really is. Your muscles are just completely shot. You just don't have any kind of level of control. So, um, going to a movie theater is a nightmare for people like myself. I'm sorry, son. I don't mean to be all TMI, but it's true. It sucks. It really sucks. It's a horrible fact of life. How's that? Anyway, um, all right. So Sachi's gonna read the article.
All right, so this is father wound. What is it and how to heal?
Can you guys
On
hear him? Okay,
on
over
the
the music.
attachment project. I had posted this earlier, but I'll repost the link. All right,
I
so the
can't
father
tell
wound.
if you're coming through or not. I don't see the. I'm looking for the mixer thingy. Okay, go ahead, Safety. Sorry.
Yes, sorry. The father wound and
Oh, not so
symptoms.
much TMI, but more just agreeing that it sucks. Oh, okay, okay. I'm sorry. I thought that you're like, oh no, not again. It's more or less like, I'm sorry, but it's true. It's just a matter of life. So please be very forgiving to anybody that you know that is female and has had a child before because um I didn't know it was true before I had the baby. Because it was really funny. The family that ended up adopting the baby, the family friend, she would always be running to the restroom and I'm sitting here the pregnant one, right? And she's like, "You don't need to use the bathroom?" I'm like, "No." She's like, "Why? Why?" And she just runs off. And then like half an hour later, she's like, "I need to use the bathroom again." I'm like, "Why?" And she was like, "You still don't need to use the bathroom?" I'm like, "No, because I haven't had the baby yet. I am just pregnant, right?" And she's like, "I don't understand why." And she's like, "I just have no memories of the time before I had a baby, right?" And she or memories of her constants, I guess to say. And then after I had the baby, I'm like, "I see what you mean. Holy cow, it changes." Because even while I was pregnant, I could not. I could hold it. I was perfectly fine. I didn't have to go to the bathroom every half hour, and and she had to. So yes, it does change. It does change for the worse. Anyway, Safty's like face palming because he's like, "Okay, I want to read this article." Okay, the father wound and what it is and how to heal.
Yes. The father wound and symptoms of the father wound can seriously impact our self worth and relationship. Find out how it develops and what its signs are in both sons and daughters. Yay. The impact of the absentee fathers is commonly used in the entertainment industry. Films such as Star Wars, The Quiet Girl, and Interstellar, books like and plays like Harry Potter and Hamlet, finding something on the subject is like searching for sand in the desert. While the impact of absent fathers is popularly known as daddy issues, the more technical term is the father wound. Father wound is what we call emotional damage that occurs when a father is physically or emotionally absent from the child's life. This is what I found was interesting in the opening.
Yeah.
Like Star Wars, your father is actually the bad guy secretly. Uh or, so there's a lot of daddy issue things in movies like
Oh, Safty's a little quieter at times, but audible. Okay, I keep turning it up, but yeah, Safty, you need to talk into your mic.
I am talking into my mic.
Is it still too low, Cow? I'm sorry, Cow. I kind of like it, but yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
It's good now. Okay, okay.
Okay. So like if you watch a Disney movie, how many times? So if you watch a Disney movie, oftentimes in a Disney princess movie, the mother is out of the picture, but is fondly remembered, right? So if you
Mhm.
think like, not always, but if you think of like Beauty and the Beast,
Mhm.
The Little Mermaid,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That's
those types
true.
of, those movies, mom's dead, and dad is kind of crazy or a jerk, depending on which movie it is, because their mother is dead, but their mother was a saint, right?
Mhm.
It's implied that the mother's a saint.
Mhm.
If the mother figure is the villain, she's your stepmother or not your real mom. Tangled,
Yeah, like
Snow
Tangled.
White,
Yes, Tangled.
Snow White, you
Yeah.
know, like the evil stepmother, not your mother,
That's true.
stepmother.
I never really thought about that.
Like the only Disney movie I can think of off the top of the head where the relationship with the mother is the actual mother is antagonistic is Brave.
Brave? Really? Wait.
That's the one where the mom turns into the bear. But the whole
Oh,
movie is about the daughter reconciling with the mom, not that her mom's like evil.
okay. I don't really remember the
She
mom
just
in that.
doesn't get it. She just has a difference of the main character just is a tomboy and her mom's like all
Oh,
prim and
okay, okay.
proper and then her mom turns into a bear, which is awesome. Uh,
I
and then
didn't
they
even
have to
think about
reconcile.
this as an like
But yeah, but
a
if you think about it,
situation.
like, but the dad could be in movies often it's the dad you have an issue with. The dad's a jerk.
Mhm.
The dad's a drunk. The dad's actually the bad guy in the black suit. Whatever, anything goes. So anyway, I'm
Interesting.
sure there are counter examples you can find out there, but oftentimes this is the popular depiction.
Yeah,
So
but I
this
never
is,
even thought about I mean, I never even
but if you
considered
think
this.
about this is kind of why this is part of the reason why people jive when we talk about daddy issues more,
Uh-huh.
because popular culture reinforces this. It does not reinforce the mother wound more often than not.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Again, you can find examples, uh, especially in maybe more serious, more adult themed things. But when I say adult theme, like geared towards adult audiences, not. Um, but you don't. But in like you know, a lot of popular movies like Star Wars and stuff, you know, you don't have that. So anyhow, that was just I thought interesting. But anyhow, if you feel I'll continue. If you feel unloved, unknown, or unwanted by your father from an early age, this can influence how you see yourself and what you expect other people see in you. These lessons can stick with you into adulthood and change how you live your life. For example, you may think there's something wrong with you, although this is far from true. Because of the pain and shame a wound can trigger, it's rarely talked about. As a result, many people find overcoming a father wound challenging. However, with guidance, knowledge, and an action plan, you can start to heal your father wound. To answer all your questions on what the father wound is and ways of healing the father wound, this article will cover what the father wound is and how it happens, signs and symptoms of the father wound, what father wound looks like in sons, how daughters may experience the father wound, and how to overcome father wounds. Okay. I'm skipping the quiz on the attachment stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Okay.
What is the father wound?
Uh,
The father wound is an unresolved trauma between father and child that occurs when a person's father is absent or abusive. It's important to recognize that both a physical and or emotional absence can cause a father wound. For example, a dad leaving when you're a young child can cause a father wound. Likewise, if your dad was abusive, manipulative, highly critical, or emotionally unavailable, this can also lead to a father wound. Father wound differs from the mother wound, and this distinction lies in the roles of mothers and fathers typically play according to societal expectations.
yep.
Women are expected to provide and care and nurture for the child. If they're unable to offer this emotional support, their child may develop a mother wound. However, the father wound relates to absenteeism, either emotionally or physical, which reflects the father's stereotypical role as the protector and advice giver. How does the father wound happen? Father wound always involves the emotional or physical absence of the father. However, the form of this absence differs depending on the specific circumstances of each family. For example, you may develop a father wound if your dad, was overprotective and controlling, was highly critical of you.
That's Safdie's dad right there.
Yeah. Suffered from a mental health
My
condition.
dad right here.
That your dad had experienced the father wound with his own
Your
father. Now,
dad. Your
I
dad.
will say I don't know how much this counts, but my dad, my grandfather, my paternal grandfather died when my dad was 18.
Mhm.
So he grew up with his dad around until he was
But wasn't your grandfather sick around when he
he
was
was
15ish or something?
he was sick for a few years, but yes,
Yeah, yeah.
he grew up with his father around. But he did die. Uh,
But he didn't. But your dad never speaks about like his relationship with
he
his.
doesn't talk. Yeah, and that's
He
another
never
weird
talks
thing.
about him.
He doesn't talk about his father a lot.
Yeah, but
He does. I mean, he'll mention him, but he doesn't talk him like a whole lot. Man. Verbally, physically, emotionally, or sexually abused you.
this one is
Obviously,
really rough too, especially this
this was
part.
really rough for a lot of people, and this is what the verbal. This is the most
My dad
extreme
was more
part.
verbal and emotional. I mean, even
Yeah,
though he was shut off, he did put us down a lot. So,
yeah. Abandoned
and
you
he
by
would hit us every once in a while.
yeah, yeah. Abandoned you by leaving when you were a child.
This
It
is a big one,
obviously
like what Yoshi was mentioning,
yeah,
and probably Striker
for
as well.
for a lot of people in our generation,
Mhm.
this is actually very common.
Mhm. For Gen X, you
Um,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Neglected your physical or emotional needs,
That's my
suffered from
dad.
substance abuse.
My dad, you know, the weird thing is my dad was never a drinker or he
He was
smoked.
smoked a
He
lot
was a
though,
huge smoker. Oh my God. He would
and you
chain
were
smoke.
impacted by that. Maybe
Yeah.
it's not the same as smoking doesn't alter your behavior the same way
Alcohol
drinking
does.
drinking does.
No, I
Or
think smoking pacifies you, does not?
yeah, it does tend to actually make you pacify, but but it has negative health effects for the people around you.
Ah, okay.
Like, yeah, you secondhand smoke.
Yeah.
So you may I think this is more referring to like alcohol, but
Yeah.
your dad did abuse tobacco
Yes,
until
yes.
your aunt somehow managed to scare the shit out of him into quitting cold turkey. And whatever she could make,
I remember
she
there
should have
was,
marketed her technique to.
but I remember one time when I still remember this, and I was young. I was like 4 maybe. And my dad was
Mhm.
trying to dress my sister and I to go to daycare, right? And he had a cigarette in his mouth, and the little ashes fell down and
Uh-huh.
burned my skin, like burned I think my arm.
Yeah,
And I screamed and cried, and he was like, "Oh, that's nothing, that's nothing." He just kept rubbing it, but the cinders were, it was like still,
yeah,
that red little cinder stuff. It burned my skin, and I remember just being devastated because it was like it was burning, and
yeah,
I mean, he'd always have a cigarette in his mouth, and it was just horrible. But
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Left the family home as a result of divorce or separation. Okay, yeah.
and then
Sorry,
passed
I
away
guess.
when you were a
Passed
child.
away when you were a child, of course.
That's
Like,
then, like I said, father wound comes in different flavors,
yeah,
unfortunately. So,
yeah. This is an exhaustive list. A father wound might occur if the father has been absent in any capacity. Regardless of the exact circumstances, the father wound can significantly impact your life. So it's important to be able to recognize it. And we can do this by considering the signs and symptoms. And so going over this checklist again for
mm,
Pandalin, Panda here. Her father did suffer from trauma as a result of
the war.
the war and what came along with it. He did smoke. He didn't do hard drugs or alcohol. He wasn't a drinker, from what
No.
you tell me. But he did. He was he was a bit of a
Mm,
gambling addict too.
that's right. He was a super big gambler. Oh my God.
Yeah. And he also was very emotionally distant to everything.
Hmm.
Didn't like talking about himself, didn't like talking about his.
The only thing that he told Safty when we were getting married is my dad literally said to Safty, "She's your problem now,"
Mhm.
and
And
he did not mean it in a joking manner. He was serious. He was
yes,
just like, "No, I don't have to deal with her anymore," kind of thing.
and
So,
did not and did not didn't do anything. Like, yes, obviously, if I were to be a referee and say which one is worse, your mom is worse
oh yeah.
because, but he didn't he was more afraid of getting in your mom's way than caring about you.
Yeah, see, when my mom would
And
beat
then he
me,
blames you for her going quote unquote
yeah,
crazy.
when my mom would go on her rampages and like drag me out of bed, beat me, do all sorts of physical abuse and stuff, my dad would just stay at arm's length because he's like, not my problem. I did not, I don't want to get in the middle of that. I don't want to get involved. I don't
Yeah.
want to get hit, is what he would say. He was a very selfish individual.
Yeah.
And he was just like, not my problem. You got her mad. I have nothing to do with this.
Yes.
So,
On one hand, your mom was a maniac, so yeah. But on the other
yeah.
hand, you're supposed to protect your child even from
You would
her
think,
wife.
that would be a a parental instinct, but to some parents it's not. So,
Yeah.
oh, sorry, Striker said he tried to paint that you were a problem and that he no longer had to deal with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, I have health
oftentimes,
problems. I do have a lot of health problems, Striker, that I was born with. I mean, I have a congenital heart defect. I have lung issues. I have a lot of physical ailments. I have scoliosis. My eyes are all messed up because of all the I have brain damage. Um, there's a lot of things that I do have that my dad had to pay a lot of money to have fixed, like open heart surgery kind of thing. So
mm,
I know I bogged down my family financially, but I don't
mm,
think that is the child's fault, and I don't think the child should ever be blamed for things they have no control over, right? It's not like I had a list when I was being born and go, I want heart disease, I want brain damage, and I want this and that. They make it seem like my parents made it seem like I chose to be this way.
yes.
And I know there are probably other parents here, or other people that had parents that with a similar unfortunate mindset, that they think that their child chose to make them suffer by having
Mhm.
all these birth defects and stuff. It's like, no, they did not choose to have these birth defects. It's just like calling me a problem was just like, I kind of looked at him when he said this, and I looked over at Safety, and Safety just kind of does his little, like, he looks at the ground like he doesn't know how to process it. And then I asked him later, what was going through your head? And he's like, I don't even know. Like, that's not something he would expect a father to say, the father of his bride to say to him. And so he was kind of just stun locked. So I don't even really know. And do you even still know? Did you ever think about it, Safty?
Think about what he said. Like,
Well, think like
obviously, like,
how did you
sometimes
process
those
it?
things are said as a joke,
Yeah, but he didn't. My dad wasn't
hardy har
joking.
har. So definitely, though, in his case, not a joke.
I didn't mean the physical ailments. They happen. I was just talking about how your father just told Safety she's your problem. Yeah, like
Yeah.
you were damaged or something. Yes, I am damaged in their eyes. I am very damaged in their eyes. They really don't. They really didn't want me. They were kind of stuck with me is what I mean, when your mom tells you, okay, after I gave up my child for adoption to the family friend, she's like, "What if I had, she came up to me, she's like, "What would you do if I had given you away? I wish I could give you away." She just literally walked up to me when I got because I had nowhere else to go. I had to go home. I had no money. I was recovering. I couldn't just go and get a job after giving birth. So literally within the 2 weeks I was in the hospital because I had some problems, and so did the baby. She had jaundice among other things, and I
Mhm.
had my heart condition and everything they wanted to monitor. So I stayed in the hospital for 2 weeks after the delivery, right? And after that, the adopted family that I was living with said I'm not allowed to come back there because they didn't want me to bond with the baby, which I understand. It's fine. So I was basically kicked back to my parents, and I had to stay there because I had nothing to my name. And my mom just came up to me one day and she's like, "What if I had given you away? What I well, no, she the way she says like, what if I sold you like you sold your baby?" I'm like, "I didn't sell a baby." She's like, "Oh yeah?" I'm like, "Yeah. If you sell something, you get monetary, you get money for it, right? I
Mhm.
don't have any money to my name, so how can I sell something and get not anyway?" And then she's like, "Well, what if I give you away?" I'm like, "I probably would have been better off." I paused for a long time, and then I literally looked her in the eye, which is very uncommon for me. And I told her I probably would have been better off. And then she slapped me really hard. And I just looked at her and I smiled. I felt so good to tell my mom that. I just said, I would have been better off. I probably would have been better off, is what I said. And I just smiled as she slapped me, and I smiled back. I'm just like, I just gave birth to a baby, so fuck you. I
Yeah.
just endured one of the biggest pains in the whole, like, I'll ever experience, other than like being chopped up alive or something. Um, Fuck you, mom. And that's basically what went through my head when she said that to me. You don't tell a woman that's recovering from childbirth that, what if I give you away? Well, you don't go telling her that. Oh my god. That
Yes.
was that was
Uh,
that was
Although
oh my god. I'm sorry. I don't even know how to still process
not
that.
not
Like,
exactly
what was
the
going through her freaking brain? I'm
not
sorry.
exactly the not exactly
When I
the
was growing up in 1973, I was told, "Hey, that new glue, crazy glue, is there enough to put you back together since you." Aw, that's
oh,
horrible, Striker.
that is
I'm
not
sorry.
that's not
That's
cool.
miserable.
Yeah.
Oh my
Uh
God, sorry. Hi, Trost. Hello, came here to
hey
say that I
Tross.
hope you have a great day in stream. Sorry, I cannot stick around. Been a little bit busy today, not feeling. Oh yeah, now please get better, Trost. Please get better. I'm sorry. It's a heavy topic anyway, so I wasn't expecting a lot of people to honestly be here, but I
タス
appreciate
キー
everybody that is able to be here.
1177チェッ
I
ク
hope
ス
you get
インよ
better,
こ
Trost.
そ。
Take care and thank you for stopping by. Um, that wouldn't ever be said
トロ
from
ス
a
テ
mother
ニ
to
ーチェ
any
ック
child.
スインよ
You
こ
would think
そ。
that, right, Cal? You would think that. And a lot of people are
Trusteddy
surprised when
gives
I
the
tell them
teddy
that
bear a head
story.
pat.
Oh, Trust gives you a head
Yes,
pat.
thank you for the head pat.
But yeah, you would think that, Cal, and I mean, if anybody else told me that and I didn't experience it myself, I would be like, no, a mom would never do that. But yeah, it's really hard to believe. But it feels like it just happened like last week kind of thing. It just feels like it just recently happened. So I'm not making it up. I mean, I know that's just that's hearsay. I could be making it up and being lying to everybody here, but I can assure you, I wish it was a lie. How's that? I wish it was a lie. And hey, Mask, welcome back. Bear, yes, Bear. That's Safty, my partner. We
Hello.
do Saturdays. He's always with me on Saturdays.
I am a bear.
But today we're not playing games. We're talking about something serious because it's a really heavy topic about father wounds. Because tomorrow in the U.S. anyway, it's Father's Day, and some of us don't have fathers that are worth celebrating. And it applies to a lot of people. It's really surprising how many people suffer with father or mother wounds and not realize it because it can greatly impact who we are and how we handle things, right?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
if I gave you away? Number one, I would be a better place. Number two, who are my new parents? Number three, go F yourself. Yeah, right,
Yeah.
Striker? I mean, can you imagine if your parent, if you're, if you have, especially if you have a hateful parent, if they told you that to your face? I mean, how do you process something like that? I just literally sat there and I was in shock, but also in a lot of pain and a lot of painkillers. And I just told her and smiled and I just said, I would have probably been better off. And then she slapped me. So, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm going to go over that again,
Okay.
checklist again for myself because it's different, right?
Yeah, no, the order,
Yeah.
yeah, I know it's not a set in stone order, Striker. I think I know what
Yeah.
you were trying to get across. But anyway, okay, go ahead,
Yeah.
Safety.
But yeah, so my dad was not, I would not say he was overproductive and
But he was controlling. He
he
really
wasn't
wanted you to
exactly
do,
controlling in the same
well,
way
no,
though.
but
He
like,
was very judgmental.
oh, no, no. Okay, so Safety, what I've heard the stories when your parents start mumbling about stuff is
Hmm.
how your dad and mom signed you up for baseball, for soccer, for Boy Scouts, for all this stuff, and you were totally against anything physical. Like, even from a very young age, you hated to play with balls. You hated to, um,
Yeah.
if you put a book in Safty's hands, he would be happy. He would be the happiest kid in the world, his mom said. Just give him a book and he's happy. He just
Hmm.
loved to sit and read, right? You give
Hmm.
him a ball and tell him to go play ball, he'd cry. He hate going outside. He didn't want to be anywhere near bugs and dirt, and he's always been that way apparently. Like, and he still is this way. He's never been a physical person. He doesn't like doing activities outside and engaging with balls and stuff, like playing roughly with things. He's a very gentle bear. He likes to read, he likes to draw. He's very creative and artistic. And yeah, his mom says he put a book in his hands and he can be happy for hours. Totally fine. Just leave him with his books and he's perfectly a good kid. He's like well behaved, very calm, very, very intelligent for his age. Like he was reading already at like 2 or 3 years old, like full books, not like mumbling words. I mean, he was reading full sentences at like 2 or 3 years old, apparently. So he was a very intellectual child. And his dad would want him to be more of a sport ball dude, bro, into sports because his dad is like, was in football and he liked to play sports and he was just like your stereotypical male, I guess to say,
So
into all the activities where Safdie was not. Safdie
yes,
is a very intellectual brain type child, right?
yeah.
And like I said, everybody's different. Doesn't matter what your gender is. You should just everybody has skills and gifts in certain fields, and Safdie's was not playing ball. Like I really think even to this day when I observe Safdie, there's a part of the spectrum where a lot of people that are on the spectrum are not physically coordinated, like because of the way their brain is wired. It's called dyspraxia. Safdie has that. He literally has, and I'm not saying this in a negative way. Please don't think I'm judgmenting him. He like has two left feet. He will walk and trip on himself, and it's not his fault. Um, if you look up dyspraxia, it's like something that uh, it's the way your brain is wired, and you just don't have the coordination, I guess to say. And so, he'd be running as a kid and just fall over, kind of thing. And that's very common in a lot of kids that are on the spectrum. And Safdie has never been tested officially. Everything's pointing to the fact that he was on the spectrum, and there's nothing wrong with being on the spectrum, being autistic, anything you want to call it. And back in the day, it was called Rainbow Child for us. Um,
Mhm.
but yes, because we do have boomer parents, boomers don't look in favor of having quote unquote disabilities like being on the spectrum. They don't like that. So his parents are completely in denial. They still are. They got mad at me when I asked them because a doctor had asked me if Safdie's been tested. And I'm like, what is this? I've never heard of autism until like 10 years ago, literally. It was like 2013, 2014 when I first heard about it. Like I never knew anything about it beforehand. Anyway, so there's this, yeah, the thing called dyspraxia. Again, it's just something that some kids have, especially if they are on the spectrum. They tend to have it more often or more frequently. They just are not physically coordinated. Like they can't just pick up a ball and just throw it right, or they can't go running and become a cross country runner. It's not. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, he has his gifts in other areas, in the arts and stuff like that. But his dad wanted him to be the sport ball guy, like he was. He wanted him to be an extension of himself, and this is
Yes,
where I think the controlling part comes in, Safdie.
yeah, yeah. Um,
He tried to control the narrative of what he wanted you to be. He
True.
wanted
Okay,
you to be a ball guy, he wanted you to play ball.
the ball guy. Yes. Highly critical of you. So the thing about my dad is you would get like thing about my dad is yes, he would be critical. The thing but he cared about the outcome. He cared about the outward outcome of things and like so he would be happy if I brought home, a report card with straight A's, sure. Who wouldn't like he would be happy and like, yay, okay, good job, you got straight A's. But he didn't actually give a shit about what I actually learned. Like he wouldn't like, hey, guess what yeah, I got an A. He only cared that it was A's. Like, yeah, I got an A in chemistry and I learned all this stuff about, carbon bonds. He didn't give a shit about that. Like he was just happy that it was A. He doesn't care. He didn't care what I was learning. He wasn't interested in what I was actually learning.
Hmm.
Right. Um, yes, that's not really critical. Suffered from a mental health condition. Look, wait. Like I said, my dad's not he's not like crazy.
But he's a
He
narcissist.
but he
I'm
is
sorry.
definitely he's a textbook narcissist. For the
He
most
feels
part.
he can never do any wrong, and that's the
Yeah.
thing. He never will admit any wrongdoing.
Yeah.
He won't even say, "Oh, my bad," or "Oh, I'm sorry," and everything like that. He also hates it whenever one of us or any of us in general will say "no worries" when he's like, he won't. It's not like he apologizes, but he'll be like, "Oh, okay," and then we're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, no, no worries, no worries," and he hates that. He hates being told no worries. He hates being told that he was the wrong one. He was in the wrong. He never admits that he's right
Yeah.
or that he's wrong. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Sorry.
Chat. Control can be exhibited in many different ways. Yeah, that's true too. They can control what you do, making you do what they wished they could have
Yes.
done and try to live through you. Yes,
Yeah.
vicariously.
I guess he tries to control people through money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad always
Uh.
yell. Sorry. Can I read some of the chat though,
Oh,
Safi?
sorry. Yeah. I don't.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Cole says my dad always yells at me and the rest of the household when he's angry. He's one of the biggest reasons I have therapy. Oh, I'm sorry, Cole.
Yeah.
Then when he apologizes, it's always because my mom asked him to apologize. So it's not a real apology. There's a lot of people that do that. They and that's what I was like kind of mentioning what his dad will do. It's like a non-apology apology. It's like they're not really sorry. They're just saying
Hmm.
sorry for the sake of saying sorry. And you're just like, yeah,
Yeah.
that person's not really sorry. That
Yeah.
that's totally not an apology. But yes, I can kind of again, I don't know because I've never lived your experiences, but by what you're saying, it sounds like it was a non-apology apology.
Yeah.
There have
Yeah.
been several instances where my mom considered leaving my dad. I would say I have a big father wound. Yeah. A lot of people, especially those that experience abusive fathers, have father wounds.
Show her what you wrote where.
More like
Huh?
a chasm. More like a chasm? Hey, I walk like Jar Jar Binks. Don't hate. No, wait, what?
No.
I don't even know how Jar Jar Binks walks. My mother visited last Friday. We went out to eat, and she brought up that she
Oh,
always
early
brings
about the
up.
controlling. There's many ways.
Huh?
There's many ways.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm still catching up on chat because I wanted Safety to have his time to speak on things too, and then I just kind of took over. And again, I'm sorry. I just have a lot to say about this kind of stuff, and Safty's still realizing that he had a father wound this whole time. It's kind of one of those new things for both of us. Except that we knew deep down that there was something not right, but we didn't have a name to put to it until like last year. And then that when my therapist brought it up, because my therapist is the one that brought it up, the mother and father wound, and I was like, "What are those? What? I've never heard of that before." And I asked Safety, and he's like, "No, I haven't heard of that." So we're still learning as we're going too. So this is totally all. This is for us anyway. It's new. It's been around in the therapy world for decades. I mean, it's been spoken on, but for our own sakes, this is completely new stuff. So again, we're just learning, but so we're just sharing what we're learning. It's almost always been my mom asked to him to apologize. Wait, sorry, I read that. Where am I? Oh, Zarek. Sorry. We went out to eat, and she brought up what she always brings up: how my siblings have it better than me. How I have always been the disappointment, and
Yeah.
Zarek, that's what I would call a severe mother wound. A severe mother wound. Holy. To sit there and still take that kind of abuse, though, it's got to be rough because, everybody deep down inside of them. I'm sorry, I'm going to start crying because it's, I feel it in a way. I mean, you just want to be accepted by them. You want to be loved by your parents. You don't want to be told that stuff. You don't want to hear that from your parents. And it's painful to hear that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I hope that someday you will be able to realize that that's not
How do you?
true.
Oh, you can head pat me. I have a head pat button.
that's that's not true at all, Zarek. Please don't believe your mom. Of what the few times that
SGT
I only
Striker
recently found out that
2023
Zarek
gives
is
the
also a
panda a
streamer,
head
so
pat.
I apologize. But
Dude,
no,
head pats.
you are not that. You seem like a very
Yoshika
sweet.
Koshka gives the teddy bear a head pat.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the head pats, guys. But I don't think we need it right now. It's everybody else in chat. I'm sorry, that really hurts to read, but I hope you don't believe that. Someday, I mean, if you do believe it right now, I hope someday you will know that you are not that. And I'm not
Oh,
trying to be all like fluffy talk here where, therapists tell you that no, that's not true. No, of the few times that I have seen you, you have been a very gentle, big-hearted, caring person that reaches out and cares about their friends. So thank you. Thank you so much, Zarek, for being that. I see how you interact with Matt. and Kaylee, and I think that's that kind of relationship with people is very rare. And you can see just from their interactions that you are a very, very good person. I'm sorry, I'm at a loss with it. I'm just.
It's okay, Sergeant Striker. It's fine. There's a lot of buttons. There's a lot of buttons to
So I
redeem. But...
apologize, Eric.
SGT
I
Striker
got to your
Oh,
message
thank you.
late, but
2023
Okay.
gives the teddy bear a
Okay.
head pat.
Okay. Thank you.
because I know that was left almost 10 minutes ago, so I apologize that I'm delayed on that. I'm trying to juggle a lot. So I have my chat thingy stalled. I don't have it scrolling right now because I'm going to be behind on chat. So I apologize. I will try my best to get to it, even though if it's a little late. Hopefully within 10 minutes of the time you post. So I apologize in advance.
Yep.
Let's see here. Okay, but yes, no, Zarek, you are a very kind individual. You are not a disappointment at all. And I know it's hard to say hearing that from a stranger online and compared to someone that, not only gave birth to you but raised you. That's we so just so you know, Safety and I spoke about the mother wound and how a lot of people are in disbelief that even such a thing exists. Most people believe in understand a father wound. Most people don't believe that there is such a thing as a mother wound because they're like, how can a mom treat their child like that? And as somebody that struggles with my mom, I can tell you it exists. It totally exists. My therapist has said it. It's a very big thing. It's a very, very painful thing, especially from the caregiver. The wounds mostly develop in childhood during your developmental years when you are just trying to become who you are and you're developing into the person that you will later become. If your main caregiver mistreats you, it's always going to be a very, very big setback in life. uh, I know that's like kind of downplaying it, but I don't know how else to put it. Anyway, and hello, Chris Slack. Hey, thank you for the first time chat. I'm sorry, this is a very heavy topic, and then you caught me where I'm just like bawling here. But um, thank you for the first time chat, and welcome to the Bamboo Force. Sorry.
Sorry. I guess I can continue with the
Like
list here.
I'm still on chat. I'm still
Wait, I
catching.
thought you. What?
I'm only at 2:39. It's 2:48 now, so I'm 10 minutes behind. I told you that I was 10 minutes behind. I think the only thing my mom forced me to do was Boy Scouts. Didn't want to do that because I didn't really like my uncle that was a Scouts. Oh yeah, I forgot that they're called. I have no idea about that, but I get the gist what you're trying to say, Yoshi. Sorry. And his son was in there too in the school. Oh no, which made it way worse than I wanted it to be. I don't blame you, Yoshi. That sounds like misery right there. And it's not for everybody. I understand that they can teach really good skills. Like Safety said he's learned some stuff from Boy Scouts, but it's not like it's not for everybody. Safety, show her what I wrote earlier about the controlling. I would like to ask, does Safety do a stream or do you only stream? Safety streams, just not lately because on his free time he's been coding for his video game and he
Um,
doesn't like to get interruptions, so he doesn't he wants to stream himself coding, but then he would be almost like neglecting chat and stuff, so he just like he doesn't want to do that. So
I did.
he's the one
I
that started streaming first, Striker.
I did stream on. I did stream on Memorial Day.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, yeah, he does stream. He's the one that started streaming. I'll give Safety a hug. Well, we'll give you a hug too, Zarek. You deserve it. You really do. And he joins occasionally. It's Safter Day. We call it Safter Day because of Safties and Saturday. So when I used to stream at night, he used to be here every night, but then he didn't have any free evenings. He went right from work to stream, and that like did not give him any free time. So that's why we only do it once a week now. And yes, we do it on my channel, but he sometimes does Sunday morning. He used to, but lately he just hasn't had the mood or the time. How do we hug the bear? But yeah, Safety does stream, just very rarely anymore.
Sorry, guys.
Couldn't find the button. The button. Okay, sorry. Yeah, because I take him on and off because when he's not on stream, I turn him off. When he's on stream, I turn him on. So they're hard to find. I know my redeems are going to be very chaotic depending on what day it is. So I apologize. Found it. Oh, okay. It's okay. I have a partner I have been with for more than 12. See, that's great. I'm glad, Zarek. And I have known Kaylee for almost 8. Oh, you've known
Okay,
Kaylee for
I'll be right back. I'll be
wow,
right
8
back.
years. I have good friends and oh, that's beautiful. I think that's so precious. I'm sorry, Safety. He had to go use the bathroom. But yeah, I'm sorry. Um, but yeah, no, I'm glad. I'm glad. It's those kind of friendships that are just precious beyond belief. And I am so happy that you have that group. But yes, like I said, of the few times that I see you guys interact, I think it's adorable. And um, yeah, definitely you do not come off as any sort of disappointment or a bad person. Um, you definitely seem like a really, really kind person, very empathetic and just very supportive of your friends, right? I'm asking because I believe his point of view would be very interesting. Sorry, point of view on the controlling or sorry, now I'm losing context on stuff and I apologize if I seem like I'm just taking over. I just get really emotional about stuff. I apologize. Oh, in streaming. Oh, yeah, yeah. He's the one that started streaming first. He was always the streamer before me. And then it's not that he doesn't stream because he doesn't want to, it's just more time and everything like that. Like he used to stream on Mixer it before Mixer was bought by Microsoft and then shut down. But yeah, he used to stream a lot on Mixer before Twitch. But yeah, he has his own channel, obviously, as you can tell his name and stuff. But his account, he opened a Twitch account in like 2015. Mine's is only from 2021. So that gives you any idea. He's been around a lot longer and done the whole streaming thing more than I ever did. I like the discussion streams because of the interactions. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I try to interact even while I'm playing a game, but I think I understand what you mean. But I do try to interact with everybody as I'm playing a game. But the just chatting ones are nice too. It's like the community is bonding more than just watching you play a game. That's true. That's true. There's no distractions, right? Sorry, he's wrapping up, and then I'll let him continue reading on. I can scroll down. Okay, sorry, Safety, you are set. I caught up. I caught up a chat.
Oh, okay.
Yay!
All right. I'm back. Okay. So going over this, my dad, yeah, my
Oh, you
dad,
want to go back up there? Sorry.
yeah, didn't suffer the mental health condition classically, but he was a narcissist, which I guess depends on your perspective. Experienced father with his own father. Well, like we said, his own dad died when he was 18. However, that impacted him. Um,
Yeah, that is a
verbally,
mental
physically,
condition.
or emotionally, or sexually was not. So my dad was never physically. He was not like physically abusive person actually, even though he liked playing football when he was younger and all that stuff, but he was never.
Your mom even said that she or your dad never raised a hand against either of you.
Oh, my mom spanked me. What are you talking about?
Well,
But
like
no, but
really,
no,
like you spank your
no,
bottom is not the
my
same.
dad didn't even spank us, which is interesting.
Yeah, see.
Right, right, but yeah, emotionally, verbally. So my dad wasn't verbally like directly insulted, but he likes being passive aggressive about things.
He's always passive. He still
Like
is.
when I was in band in high school, right? Like everyone knows that. Not everyone knows that, but people who know me know I was in band in high school.
He is first
Uh
chair saxophone, everybody.
right.
Give him all the praise. He's amazing.
And
I saw
unlike
him play on a video and it's so good. He's really
hey,
good.
well that's the but the point is that my dad, like I was in the marching band and my dad would be like, well, at least you're on a
Alto.
would be like he'd be like, at least you're on a football field.
Yeah, like what kind of things
Like he'd rather be being in the he'd rather me
I'm like, so your dad would
playing the
rather you
football
be
game.
getting concussions and slamming your
Yeah.
head and body into other people and while
Yes.
you're fighting over a ball rather than
Yeah.
safely playing an instrument and doing
Yeah.
music. I don't
Like
understand.
yeah, and I wouldn't say my dad is like the biggest music fan, but like Panda
He's
was also in
not.
band, but Panda was also in band, and like her parents really hated her. He was at least okay with it because he thought it would look good on my college
Like a real
submissions.
man, right, Yoshi? That's how
Yeah,
I would see
no,
exactly.
my dad was okay with me being in the band because he thought it would look good on college submissions that I did extracurricular activities. He didn't actually care that much about the band. Like again, just like with classes and stuff, he didn't care what I was learning or doing. Just like, well, that will look good on like being in the band will look good. Like doing extracurricular
It's about the
activities.
outward appearance, not so
Yeah,
much
would
the
look good.
talent.
Will look good on the will set you will might help with your college submissions. Like yeah, like if I had told him I want to become a professional musician, I'm sure that that conversation would have been different.
Mhm.
Right. Abandon you by leaving you when you're a child. Okay, so unlike a lot of Gen Xers, my fellow Gen Xers, my parents were not divorced, right? But my parents were not divorced, you know. Um, but my dad spent a hell of a lot of time doing work traveling.
Yeah, he was a workaholic.
So my
He
dad
was always
traveled
traveling.
all,
Yeah, he
yeah,
traveled a lot for work.
yeah. My dad was traveled a lot for work. Um, and so yes, but no. Right. He
Well,
was there, but no. Like
it was like he lived out of
he
the
was very much
suitcase.
absentee in that case,
Yeah,
in that
yeah.
way.
He wasn't really a big part of Safdie's upbringing,
Right.
except for monetary needs.
Right. So and so suffered from substance abuse. My
No, no.
dad
How about
told
this neglected your physical emotional
yeah, I mean
needs?
same thing.
Oh, I see.
He was very I mean fit like
Yeah, materially he had.
materially he provided you know, we had he made because he was always working a lot. Uh
They were never for wanting. They had everything they
yeah,
ever
my
wanted.
materially,
If
yeah,
Safdie asked for something, he would get it. He would just get the money and get to get it.
within the reason, yes. So if I
Football is a
wanted
man's sport, right? Right, Yoshi?
right. Yes. So if I wanted something,
Mhm.
well, my mom would
No,
buy it
you're
for me,
fine,
but
Yoshi. Big hugs to you.
yeah,
I feel your frustration in your text. I understand you could probably completely relate with that.
yeah,
And I know a lot of guys, especially, like I was saying, toxic masculinity. Everybody expects men to be a certain way, and if you're not this way, you're shamed and ridiculed and blah blah blah.
yeah,
Right? I totally understand. So it's okay to rant and express your anger right
yeah,
now, Yoshi. It's better than penting it up because if you shove it down and suppress it, it's only going to make you more bitter and hateful in life.
yeah,
So please, by all means, let it out. It's totally okay right now,
yeah,
especially in regards to, like, a father wound, especially because, or toxic masculinity in
yeah,
general. But yeah, anyway.
yeah. Suffered from substance use. No, my dad
Oh,
didn't. I mean, my dad drinks,
but
obviously,
he's just
casually.
he's a.
He's not a drunk though.
How do you know that though? Okay, so
Well,
this is the
well,
scary part.
he holds
He
his
holds his
liquor
liquor
very well,
too well. Like
but he never
Safdie's
shows.
dad will finish a whole bottle of wine and then he'll be able to still get in a car and drive. It
Yes,
scares the living crap out of me, but he doesn't swerve. He doesn't do anything
yes,
like.
he doesn't show signs of being
No,
drunk, and even after he drinks a bit, his he doesn't like do this personality change thing like
no,
you
he's
might
the
see with some
same. He's
people.
the same asshole.
Left the family home as a result of divorce or separation. Again, like what I said earlier. Yeah, passed away. No,
Yeah,
so
left the family home, but your dad, like, wasn't really always there. So,
yeah, so the big
but they were
thing,
not separated.
yeah, so the big thing with my dad is he was not interested. Like aside from not only was he very absentee, not only is
He
he very
wasn't interested in being a
absentee,
dad.
yeah, and he's a narcissist.
He kind of
Um,
treated his kids like a transaction.
yes, his attitude towards me, I think to a lesser degree my sister because she's his favorite, but like is very transactional.
Hmm.
Um, his yeah, because he is so he is so like he is so like he's drinking the Reaganomics Kool-Aid so hard that every relationship to him is transactional.
Uh,
Um and he doesn't like my he never liked my hobbies growing up or my interests growing up either. So on top of being absentee, he would let me do them, but he'd be very passive aggressive in them and wasn't really interested. Like I had friends, when I was talking to my friends in college, and like and we were talking about, well, how did you do, how'd you get into programming? I'm like, well, I basically just, I basically just taught myself. And they're like, oh yeah, well, oh, well, my dad, everyone else, it was the conversation. My dad taught me Pascal, and we programmed the lights we programmed like Halloween decorations and like in Pascal, like shit like that. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute, that would have been cool.
Yeah.
Or like, like I knew someone in school who was his dad was an engineer, and his dad was, sorry, not an engineer, an architect.
Mhm.
And his dad like helped him like design, like we had like when I was in elementary school or middle school, I don't remember which, we had like this project where you had to like design a bridge, and out of popsicle sticks, right? And whoever's bridge, and it was supposed to be a team thing, so it was like 4 teams of class or something.
Mhm.
And like, yeah, so whoever's made the bridge that could support the most weight won the contest, whatever. It was a competition. Of
Mhm.
course, some kid, his dad was an architect
Oh
and like
gosh.
designed him this kick-ass bridge that like was on that destroyed everyone else, that sort of thing. And it's like, oh geez, but at least your dad's like taking an interest in like
Yeah, see, I
that,
think that's
like
what
these
Safety
kind of
meant
techie
earlier.
things.
Yeah, that your dad just never found interest in what you did learn. Unlike
Yeah.
that father was like, "Oh, you want to build a bridge? Okay, we'll build a bridge. We'll build the best
Yeah,
bridge that
hell
you'll
yeah,
ever
I can help
see."
you build a bridge. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his dad was just a businessman and that's it. He's like the kind
He's
of businessman that you just don't really like,
yeah,
that is just
he's
there by
basically
schmoozing.
yes. I mean, to my dad's credit,
He's good at what he smooches.
he's good at he's good at that. He's charismatic. He's good at
I'm
winning
gonna
people
sneeze.
over, schmoozing.
Yeah.
To his credit, he did not grow up wealthy, because he did not grow up very wealthy.
Well,
Um
his dad was an immigrant, so
my his dad was an immigrant, back,
that worked on like the railroads, right?
yeah, railed on the railroads and stuff. To his credit, at least he didn't like at least he didn't just inherit his wealth from my grandfather.
Yeah.
But he also had all of the advantages of
A
being in
boomer.
that of being a boomer in the right place at the right time,
Mhm.
when basically he got all of the benefits of neoliberalism.
Yeah.
Well, the rest, like everyone younger, suffered all the consequences. So
Exactly.
that sort of thing he doesn't get.
But
But
he's also in that position where because he did get all the luck, that later like he always compares himself like his son. He always
oh, and
compares
and
Safety
also
to
yes,
him.
he was shit lucky.
Yeah, he was really damn lucky. Anyway, Safety, he was like, "But I did it, so why can't you?" To Safety.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, we're suffering one of the worst like employment shitholes that in the whole history of employment. I swear to God, like everybody, especially younger than us. I mean, I'm not
Oh,
saying we don't.
there's
I don't say that the older because the older you get, the less you're likely to be hired. But younger people are struggling with being hired. So there's like
yes.
so much bad things going on right now,
Well,
and
it's
his
not
dad can't see that.
it's not a matter of being hired. I have a job.
Yeah.
I make more money in salary than I ever did, but it doesn't feel like it
No, because everything is
because of
so
in the end everything.
inflation.
Yeah,
Ugh.
like I can't
But
like
they didn't have that back then. In
yeah,
the
they didn't
70s
have
and 80s, no, they didn't
there
have
was
the quote unquote inflation that we're dealing with
they had some
in these age
hyperinflation.
in this age
They
group.
had some inflation in the late 70s,
But
but not like
it's nothing like this bad.
yeah. So he was never
On So Falling Monkey, you're never late, and thank
yeah.
you for being here. I really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
and also my job is actually doing things, not schmoozing people.
Yeah, Safty's actually
I
using his
can't do
brain.
my job. My job is not schmoozing other people on the golf
You
course.
actually know how to use a brain. I get it.
Yeah. Either way, yeah, he didn't have an interest. So like those activities, or like when I wanted to go play, he'd get annoyed when he'd actually come home and we're like in the living room playing, like I'm in the living room playing Magic or D&D with my friends. Yeah, the inflation, there was bad inflation in the 70s. Um, but it was mostly resolved by the time he got out of college and really started earning
I'm
money.
not denying the fact that there wasn't inflation. I just said
Basically,
there
he got
we're
he got
stuck.
all of the benefits of he got all of he was in the right place in the right time where he got all the benefits of all the immediate benefits of
And it also
Reaganomics without
depends
having to
on where you're
suffer the
coming from
consequences.
too.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Oh yeah.
as what like I mean, as you've mentioned before in the past, Avatar, you make a butt ton of money or something. You said something in that chat, in that
Yeah.
stance, and that you know you are well off right now. But some of us are not,
Yeah.
and some of us are
Like
struggling, and we can't even like homes around here go for almost 1 million. They're like 800,000 to 1 million for a small family home, and it's ridiculous.
yeah.
I do pretty
It
okay these days with poor luck,
yeah, yeah,
but I'm just saying in general that's I'm happy for you. I'm glad you are. And I know you're in the latter part of the Gen Xers, and that's great, especially. But a lot of the younger generation right now, this really
mm,
bad right now.
yeah,
It's
it can be pretty bad. Like it's even worse for yeah, like
and I guess my
it,
family wasn't impacted by it because we came here in '79.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
there's a lot
there's
of
a lot
people
of
having
people
a rough
have.
time. He
Oh
doesn't
yeah, tons of
he
people.
doesn't he doesn't quite get he doesn't quite get that his generation's kind of responsible.
Yeah, he
I mean,
they had a discussion when they met just
I
a few
cannot
months
put it
ago.
all on the I cannot put it all on just them, but they are
A huge
like
part of the reason.
they are the my parents are unfortunately, especially my dad is the stereotypical like the stereotypical boomer retired boomers that everyone hates. That's them.
Yeah.
That is them. Golf
The
course
golf
check.
course, the gated
Golf course check.
community,
Yeah.
the
The the
the wine snobs. Yeah,
the
that
wine snobs
Safty's
check.
parents is the check off list of that kind of boomer that
Yeah.
everybody hates. I'm not talking about all boomers are that way, but they are the epitome
Yeah.
of what
That's
everybody
them.
hates about boomers.
That's my dad.
Yeah.
That especially my dad. But yeah, so what really so like just to tell you another story. What so a couple before COVID,
Uh-huh.
we were out there, we were going around, we were playing although we centered upon playing D&D at a specific store that's nearby. We did go to some other places to play once in a while. And there was a place a little bit a ways from where we are right now that is technically a shop, but it was a basically it was just this guy who was about my age and his dad who was retired
Oh
opening up a quote
yeah.
unquote game shop together just for fun. And so they got this place and they're like they basically turned it into like basically this gaming place. And you know,
Where they can play either Dungeons and
they can
Dragons,
play D&D
Pokemon
and
cards, yeah, they can play all of
cards together. They were
they
like
had like all
They had
these
like they had like a setup where they were like streaming people playing physical magic and or
yeah.
something like that. Like I'm like that is awesome and that is something that I will never ever do.
Safety actually left the store crying.
Yes,
He actually
with my
started tearing up, and then he just okay, and this is the thing. Safety never hardly ever cries. I mean, he does, but he doesn't
yeah.
he doesn't usually get emotional, and
Uh,
that seeing the father and son together, and the son was about maybe was definitely a millennial. The son was
yeah,
definitely a millennial.
he
He was
maybe have
like in
enough
his
he
30s or late 20s, and the father was, probably higher Gen X or lower, baby
he
boomer.
yeah, maybe like 5 years younger than us
Yes,
respectively,
he wasn't
but
that
around
much
the same
younger.
ballpark.
Yeah,
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 not
he
that much
wasn't that
younger
much
than
young.
me.
He was like a millennial, like I said.
Yeah.
And the father could have been high, like older Gen X or
Hmm.
a younger boomer, right?
Yeah.
And because he didn't look extremely old or anything, but he's like, yeah, we just took my retirement funds and opened up the store. Because we both have a love
Yeah.
for fantasy, is what they explained. Because Safty was
Hmm.
actually
Yeah.
inquiring and asking questions, and it was so
Yeah.
heartbreaking to see Safty leave the store
Yeah.
and just start bawling.
Yeah, it's not just me. Like I had another friend. I wouldn't say he was a close friend, but he was someone we did game with once in a while. And I mean, it's kind of cheesy, but his father like bequeathed him all of his old, like all like his old like ye old first edition campaign maps and things that he compiled when he was playing D&D. So like all of like the world building and like all the maps and that they created when creating their old school D&D campaign, he like bequeathed that to his son.
Mm.
And I'm like, hey, that's also something that will never happen. They're like crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So that can be a
Alright, I will
huge father
finally
wound too. And that's like we're just defining what a father wound is. So
yeah.
maybe some of you can latch
And
on to some of
I'm
this
just
this
basically griping.
No,
Yes.
I
So,
know, no. I mean, they're good examples. They're good real lived examples for people to hopefully relate with
mhm.
because a father wound can simply be longing for
Yeah.
something you never had, never
Yeah.
had that bond, that closeness that you see your other
Yeah.
friends or other family members or, in extended family too, like cousins and stuff like that. You see that they have a bond with their
Yeah.
their parental unit and you never got that. That's also a father
Yeah.
wound. It doesn't have
And
to be abuse. It can be
yeah.
something
And
you
on
just
one
never
hand,
had.
yeah, I am definitely. Do not get me wrong. I can sit there and tell me look at Sergeant Stryker
Oh
went
yeah,
through, and
definitely.
like yes, his dad
That's a
was
lot worse.
uh, clearly abusive, very very bad guy.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can't sit here and maybe it seems like I'm just whining about stupid privileged bullshit when I talk about my
But
dad like
everybody's
that.
experience, the thing is that
Right.
everybody's experiences are different and nobody's going to have the same
Yeah.
experience.
At the same time,
But
kind
so
of
never
similar.
discredit yourself for not
Yeah.
having a father wound. A
At
father
the
wound is
same
a huge, huge spectrum.
Yeah, at the same time, we can look at what Sergeant Stryker went through, and everyone will agree. Yeah, your dad was an asshole. He was a
And
terrible
Yoshi's
person.
too,
Yeah, Yoshi, your dad tried to kill your mom. Yeah, that guy's an asshole. Totally objectively bad
without a
person.
doubt.
With
Yes.
my father, people think he's a swell guy, and look at
I'm from the
how
outside.
well he provided for you guys. How could you have a problem with him?
Yeah. It's like
And so,
he's a good, outstanding guy. He didn't do
look,
anything. He didn't lift a hand on you. So what
yeah,
is your
yeah, he,
problem?
yeah. Well, I just said what my problem was. I'm glad. I personally think they had it worse. You know, people who have truly abusive fathers definitely have it much worse. But that doesn't mean I don't have issues.
Exactly. No, the littlest things. Again, we
And
all have different lived experiences.
yes, I know that this is not everyone. Sometimes when sometimes like if your dad beat your mom, went to jail, he knows they know they've done something wrong. They face some consequences. Some people, it is rare. Some people do say, you know what, I was wrong because they were forced to face some consequences. Uh, people were forced to face, some people who are physically abusive are eventually forced to face consequences. And so they realize, or at least have actual, some of them will never learn, but they may have actualized that, maybe I did something wrong. Right. My dad will never face consequences for anything wrong he did. Right.
Exactly.
Right. But yeah. Anyway, I snoozed the ads a few times, so
Yeah,
maybe
I
we
know.
should run them, and then I
This
can
is the last
actually
time it's
read
gonna go through.
maybe I can actually read the article, the
Well, no,
rest of
I
the
think we
article.
should take the break now and then come back
Well,
and read this. Or read
yes, that's
the
what I
one
meant.
word story and then continue or finish this and then
Well,
read
we
the.
should take the break. We should take the ad break first
Okay.
before doing anything else.
All right. So we'll be right back. Sorry about this. We're going to take an ad break and then we'll be back and continue reading this article. Sorry about
Sorry
going
about
off,
that.
but this is a whole thing about just letting it go if you can. I mean, obviously one session, one little stream is not going to do it. But if there's anything, at least you know that you are in a safe place and that you do matter and you are not anything bad. You are your own individual, you are your person, and your experiences, as Cal said, is valid, right? Okay,
Hmm.
so we will
All
be
right.
right back. Thank you. Thank you again. I'll be right back. I'm over here. Okay, guys, if you do start and you're on NA, I'll gladly help you out. Anytime, we can. Yep. Sacrifices. I did like a triple, like double sacrifice on
Exactly, Bucko. I want. Please reveal yourself so I can.
Hello, we're back. Hope
Yes.
everybody else had a good break. I
All
did
right.
some squats and stretched because I'm like sitting still
Did
all the
some
time.
hot
Oh,
squats.
thank you, Cal. Um,
We're gonna continue the article finally.
and by the way, just to make sure that everybody, um, if you feel this way, especially when you're in therapy and you talk to them, my therapist said if you suddenly feel like this, like overwhelming urge to, you have like all this energy pent up, right? And you're talking about something that's very detrimental and you've been suppressing for some time, your body wants to release that energy, and it sounds like like tree hugger talk or something like that. But no, we're made of energy, right? So if we suppress it, we either become numb or, we can become angry balls of like hate. The energy turns into different things. So if you suddenly feel like you're shaking and you're talking about it, or you're remembering some painful parts, if you need to get up and like move, your body's trying to tell you something. It's trying to tell you, I need to release this energy. I need to punch something. I need to move. I need to walk. I need to run something. There's a reason for that. So never deny yourself. If you need to go move, you need to get up and, you know, run around and or punch bag. Don't punch anybody else. I'm not saying that. If you need to punch a pillow or if you need to just scream into a pillow or something, there's a reason for that. It's because your body just wants to release energy. So never deny it, because that makes us. Because for the longest time I kept suppressing it myself, and it just encourages your body to continue to hurt itself basically. So don't deny your body. If you feel the need to get up and move, just yeah, and you just have, it's like this shaking energy. I don't know how to explain it, but I always tell this to my therapist. It's like it feels like electricity surging in my, like, just in my through my arms. Like I just feel like I need to like move and I need to shake it off. And so yeah, she's like, that's normal. So just know it's normal if you ever experience it. It's not weird. I always thought it was weird, but apparently it's not. So anyway, Safty's gonna continue reading. I'm sorry.
Yes. So we're gonna go to father wound signs and symptoms. Father wound symptoms and
Oh
signs
yay,
differ
I'm
from
glad, Cow. Sorry.
father wound signs differ from person to person and may look similar to other emotional difficulties in childhood. Because of this, it's not always easy to identify, often leaving it unrecognized. Nevertheless, people who experience a father wound tend to report similar feelings and experiences regarding their fathers. In relate to the items in the following list, this might indicate you experienced a father wound. Here are the signs that you may have a father wound. Your dad was abusive, either emotionally, physically, verbally, or sexually. Your dad gave you the silent trick treatment or restricted food or loved to punish you. No matter what you did, felt like you could never please your dad. You didn't feel good enough for your dad. Your dad was often critical of you, belittling your experience or using harsh disciplinary methods. Your dad was physically absent during your childhood. This could include reasons such as leaving for long periods for work or because
There
of
you go.
parental separation. Right?
There's
Your,
validation for you, Safty.
yeah, your dad was a source of fear. For example, if you ever caught doing something you shouldn't have been, you became preoccupied with fear that your dad would find out.
I had this
Yeah.
fear. Because even though my
Experience the
dad was
father.
despondent, he would be very explosive in his anger.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. I need to restart the music because it's over. Okay.
Mm.
So go ahead.
The experience of the father wound can have a profound impact, not just in childhood, but in the way you feel about yourself and others throughout life. For example, those who have a father wound tend to show the following symptoms: mental health problems. Research repeatedly shows that the father wound and other forms of attachment trauma in childhood are associated with mental health problems such as anxiety or depression in adulthood. Emotional outbursts. Those with father wound often struggle to manage their emotions in later life and may use anger and aggression as coping mechanisms to shield the pain underneath. Low self esteem forms their self-sense of worth based on the love and care they receive from their attachment figures. They may blame themselves for their dad's absence or internalize their anger or hurt, causing them to hold negative views about themselves. Unhealthy relationship. People develop an understanding of how they should be treated based on their caregivers' behaviors. Those with a father wound may be more likely to accept abusive, unhealthy behaviors from partners as this is what they were taught. was acceptable in childhood, or maybe in my case, I accept abusive relationships with my employer, or
With
maybe
what?
that's maybe in my case I accept a abusive relationship with from my employer, but
Oh, your
maybe that
employer.
maybe
Yes.
maybe that's just capitalism. Anyway, who knows? Perfectionism. A child with an overly critical, belittling, or abusive father may be taught early on that mistakes lead to punishments or insults. As a result, they may fear making mistakes in adulthood, leading to perfectionism. Boundary issues. Some with fatherhood may be more willing to compromise their boundaries due to low self esteem, as their lack of self worth may make it difficult to say no to others and assert their needs.
There, this one right here. I know a lot of people, well, most of us, hey, raced, most of us struggle with this boundary
Hmm.
issues right
Yeah.
here. We don't have boundaries. We have very weak boundaries. We let in whatever shit our parents are going to throw at us just simply because they are our parents.
Yeah.
And you just take it to the face and you just like, yeah, I'll have some more verbal abuse with that verbal abuse. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Like it's just you just all you want is their approval, right? But this is the big one right here. I know that a lot of us, and I know that other people that have quote unquote daddy issues struggle with this too.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people that grow up, especially a lot of other women that have father issues and father wounds. This is a big one. I know Safety has it too. So anyway.
Rigid behavior. The absence of a father can leave children feeling like they have no control. In adulthood, they may become controlling and demonstrate rigid behaviors, attempting to control as many details of their lives as they can, as this may ease their anxiety.
Mhm. This
These
is
signs,
Safety right here with his work.
Mhm. These signs and symptoms may be noticeable in both sons and daughters. However, research indicates that sons and daughters' experiences of father wound may also differ in certain ways. The father wound in sons. We may be more familiar with impact of father absence on a daughter's life, as the term daddy issues is a well-known concept in entertainment media and social media. For example, there are over 297,000 posts with the hashtag daddy issues on Instagram alone. Yet the father wound can also occur in the father-son relationship,
Can you hold
can have,
on stop after this? Sorry.
and it can have a significant impact on a son's life.
Causes my father was absent most of my childhood, though abusive too when he was present. Aw. But I naturally assume most of my psychological wounds were from my abusive mother just because she was more present. But it wasn't until therapy that I realized how much of an effect that having a good father figure can have on someone. Oh, definitely, without a doubt. I had all the symptoms listed here and wish I'd known sooner so I could start the healing. Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
Cow. I totally. No, don't ever be sorry. Thank you for sharing that. You know what? That takes a lot of guts right there just to share that. So thank you for opening up and sharing that with us. It really means a lot to me because especially, from and it's not like it's a bad thing. Gender is not a huge impact, but from one female to another, it's nice to hear that you're not alone kind of feeling. So I'm sorry that you went through that though. That's yeah. Having an abusive mom on top of that doesn't help. But having an absent father that doesn't yeah. I'm sorry. That
Yeah.
father wounds, like I said, come in all sorts of different flavors. I don't know what to
Yeah.
call it, but yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
It's
Father
wait.
wounds. And,
It's saddening and emotionally hard hearing your experiences sometimes, but I've always appreciated your open
um,
discussion. And people are like, "How come you can be so open about it?" I'm like, "Well, one, I'm almost 50 years old. I mean, I'm technically closer to 50. I just turned well, March I turned 45. So I'm closer to 50. I'm closer to my midlife crisis, quote unquote. And I'm thinking I've already missed out on so much and I've suppressed so much for so long that I can't not talk about it anymore. And I noticed that talking about it has actually made me feel better.
Youngin. Hey,
Youngin, thanks, Striker.
we are
But
17 on this channel.
yes, we are forever 17, but eternally 17. But yes, it just feels like it's a different kind of freedom, a sense of freedom anyway, when you can openly talk about it and you have a space to talk about it. And I'm like, you know what? This is my space. Why can't I use it for my reason? People are free to come and go. If you don't want to hear this and this, that, well, you don't have to be here, right? There's a million and one million trillion billion, I don't know, channels out there that you can go surf and hang out with, and this is not for you, then it's not for you. But this is for some people, and sometimes it's just nice to know that you are not alone and that your your issues you've had for so long that you've buried are valid, and they are present in many other lives.
We
And that's
can,
the thing, is that when you feel not alone, and this is human nature, by the way, if you don't feel alone, you feel more open to sharing your experiences, and it frees you from that prison that you put on yourself, right?
yes.
And I
Um,
consider it a prison because we are locking ourselves up. We're locking our feelings up. We're locking what we feel and what we experienced, right? So it feels like a safe place, safe space here, and hopefully it can be help someone out to start navigating their wounds too. Exactly, Cow. Exactly, because it's just like, even I I'm only doing this one because the mother wound one I found to be very successful. I didn't think it was going to be. I thought it was like, I'm just gonna be talking to the cloud, like being this old person yelling at the cloud or something like that. But you know what? It was nice. I was like, I would be lucky. I told this to my therapist. I'll be lucky if I reach one person. I ended up reaching several, and I was like, you know, that's nice. And then I forgot this weekend was Father's Day, and Safdie's like, we forgot Father's Day. I'm like, oh yeah, whoops. And I'm like,
mhm.
okay, so we'll do it this Saturday, and that's why
Let's
you
see here.
whippersnappers, right? Am I the?
Yes,
I think you are. Well, you're
y-
probably one of the oldest. I think
you're definitely
Avatar
not
is
the.
probably similar in
You're
age.
not the oldest in the community that who people who stop
Well,
by.
yeah, I don't think you're the oldest in the whole community, but you are one of them,
Yeah.
definitely.
Uh, father. Okay,
Oh,
where was
wait, okay, so I was thinking because you're like around Brick's age, because Brick I know is around Striker's age, isn't he?
I thought he was anyway, I don't know.
I'm sorry.
I'm not gonna. Let's not
So
dox anyone.
Avatar's around is exactly our like a year older, or yeah, like a year older.
I thought I was.
Okay, anyway, go ahead, Safety.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
All we can do is cast our minds to the story of Star Wars to understand the importance of a father-son bond. In Star Wars, Luke Skywalker experiences a father wound when his
Yes,
dad,
we are
Anakin
Yoshi.
Skywalker, later Darth Vader, is absent. Throughout the film, we see how this impacts his views of himself and his relationships. So, see how Anakin's turn to the dark side had much to do with his difficult relationship with his own father. What?
Wait, what?
Okay, this is wrong. Canonically, Anakin Skywalker does not have a father.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second.
Qui-Gon Jinn
Where is this
may have
person writing this from?
Qui-Gon Jinn was a father figure for Anakin for all of 45 minutes. Um, Obi-Wan is more of
Grandma's
Anakin's.
not. I'm not grandma age. I'm auntie age.
Yes,
Estella,
get it
hello,
right.
welcome back. By the way, I'm not a
Qui-
grandma.
Obi-Wan was more
I'm
Anakin's
just
father
older.
figure.
I am
Okay.
older, but I don't think. I mean, I know a lot of streamers are like in their 20s and usually 30s right now.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not a grandma, no. Nefer, who's away on vacation right now, he fondly calls me Auntie Geedy, so I can be everybody's auntie, Ayi or whatever you want to call it in China. Well, okay, it's different in Asian languages, but auntie is pretty. Everybody that I know that's Asian call their like family, like non-family members, auntie and uncle. So I'm that auntie.
Mm.
Is this an AI art? I hope not. I hope not,
I
Sylphonic.
think this is just a bad edit
Yeah,
from
like wait, what?
unlike Phil's
Auntie Panda.
reconciliation and
Well,
resolution
Auntie
aren't
Giddy
always
rhymes. That's why.
possible. In these instances, a father one can continue to impact a son's
Yes,
life.
yes. Cow says Auntie Giddy. Yeah, that one.
Yes.
Sorry,
Tantagiri, what?
it rhymes.
Fact the son life childhood. Often sons who have a father wound feel like lacking and not good enough in some way. They may struggle with difficult feelings of self-doubt, inadequacy, and the need for approval and validation, particularly from
Is your
authority
mic
figures.
away from your mouth again?
These feelings can manifest in two ways. They may crave a male father figure, sure, like Luke Skywalker did with Obi-Wan Kenobi for all of 45 minutes. Again, it's a movie. Experts call this father hunger. Father hunger refers to the longing the boy may experience for his father, who is emotionally, physically, or psychologically distant, or they may develop intense anger towards their father that may then become internalized, leading to negative self views. It's important to note that it's also possible for someone to experience both of these manifestations of feelings at the same time. They may not only occur in isolation. Sons with a father wound may also seek to control many aspects of their lives to compensate for the lack of control they felt when they were younger. For example,
Oh,
they
it
may want
does.
everything.
I don't know what it is in. Wait, wait. You mean like Ayi? Ayi? I don't know if Ayi is Ayi Cantonese. I don't even know what it is. It is?
Hmm.
Oh, Ayi Ayi Giri. Oh my gosh, it does. I didn't even think about that. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. They might want everything just so in their homes, as adults are struggle with fears of power imbalance within relationships. As a result, they may show controlling or jealous tendencies in relationships to curb their anxieties about not being in control. Many sons with father wounds also tend to hold themselves in very high standards, particularly if their father was critical or abusive. They may live their life as
That's
if it was
safety.
prove their worth to themselves and their father, causing a fear of making mistakes and perfectionism.
That's definitely Safety. Oh my gosh, he's been so stressed at work lately because Safety is one of those people that works really hard to finish things as efficiently as possible. But as you guys, as people that are in the work field know, once you are part of that, if we finish your work, that signals the boss to give you more work, right? And no, don't ever be sorry, Cal. You're fine. I honestly did not know that was also in Kanto because I had a quote unquote mother figure through my IE, you know. She wasn't blood related to our family, but she was as much of a mother figure, more of a mother figure than my own mom. And I always called her IE, but she spoke Taiwanese and Mandarin. So I didn't know if it was the same, if it transferred over to Canto as well. My dad was the Cantonese speaker. My mom knew how to speak it, but her family's dialect was Fujianese. So, or Fuzhou, whatever, I don't even pronounce it, Fujianese. And yeah, my mom knew how to speak Cantonese. My dad spoke Cantonese, but he didn't speak any other dialect. My mom knew Fujianese, Mandarin, Taiwanese, Vietnamese, and Cantonese. So it was one of those things like I didn't know if it was Cantonese or not, but I know that I used Ayi a lot. So anyway, but yes, this is definitely a Safety. This is totally Safety's been channeling his father wound, anger, rage, whatever, into doing his work. He's very efficient. His bosses yell at him. I mean, okay, so he has one boss that he reports to, I think, that actually he followed from the other company and he
Hmm.
values him. This boss makes him feel like not special. I mean, like, oh my gosh, you're so special. No, he makes him
The
feel
special.
appreciated. He makes him feel appreciated for his work. He's very encouraging. He is like, even though he's only like 5 years older than Safety, he almost comes off more fatherly. Like he's like he gives. I think he gives Safety that father figure feeling that he's been missing all these years because this guy, even though he's not much older than us, he comes off as a very much more old soul, I guess. Even older than what I'm not saying we don't have old souls and we're old, but he just comes off like I don't know. He just comes off. I met him and I'm like, he's really only 5 years older than us, and I'm like, no way. I don't see it because he just has his like wisdom beyond his years. I don't know, and his demeanor and everything like that. Anyway, so he has another boss on top of that boss who sees Safty getting all this work done and just says, "Oh, you can handle it. Oh, you can here take more. You can do this." And he dumps like 10 projects on him out of nowhere. And Safty's like, "Ah!" He's like, I can't do this. And he's just like raging. And he's like so mad he'll run into the room and start punching the couch because he just doesn't know what to do. And he doesn't know he can't talk back to his bosses, but he doesn't he's like at a but he and then he just ends up taking it and fixing it and doing all the work because that boss's boss tells him to. And I'm like, why don't you just tell this to your boss? And he's like, you want me to lose my job? And then that's how Safety views it all. And I'm just like, your sanity is gone and it's going to keep going. Oh, do you know how to speak? No, I don't. Estella, I'm sorry. I know it sounds horrible. I don't know how to speak. My parents, they immigrated here to the US. I was not born here. I was born in Malaysia and on a refugee camp. So I'm not even Malaysian. It was just where they escaped to from Vietnam because they were running away from the war. And they came here to the US and they kind of taken, um, most Asians don't understand this because what Asian parent doesn't want to teach their kid Asian? Because everywhere I go, they're like, "Oh, you speak?" I'm like, "No," and they're like, "Ugh." They always do, they used to do that, that annoying, and I'm just like, "What?" That the auntie uncle disapproving little tick sound. Yeah, they do that all the time to me. My mom and dad were like, "You're American now. You don't need this stuff, and you don't need to know this." And so they only spoke English at home, or they tried to, except when they got mad. Didn't you travel a lot though? No, well, I came
Mm,
here when I was 2 months old. So he could have been like the younger sibling children he had to take care of. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. But it's just like a big brother. I think was is your boss a
I
big
don't.
brother?
I don't know.
I don't want to say his name because I just like I was about
I
to say
I
it.
honestly do not know.
Yeah, he doesn't know his family life, but yeah. Then you travel. I didn't travel a lot. I mean, that's just being immigrants. I mean, my family was sponsored. It's not like they got in through, there's a lot of Asian families. Like I know that uh Neff, for instance, I think he shared that, he came from Hong Kong and his family probably came here on some sort of like visa, like a traveling visa. My parents didn't have that. They were sponsored here by a church. A church reached out because it was literally a refugee camp. It was just tents on a little island run by the Red Cross. That's where my family was. That's where I was born. And a church in the middle of nowhere in Indiana decides to sponsor a bunch of like a handful of families to come over there and live. So literally, my parents are uneducated. They don't have anything higher than middle school, maybe high school education because of the war. And they came here with nothing. Like they have no like they worked factory work. They didn't really do anything. They didn't come over here with any scholarship or and like how some people get here for jobs or anything like that. My parents were not that. They were like bottom barrel kind of immigrants. Interesting. I have a friend whose parents also Canto Viet. Oh, who migrated to the U.S., but he also only speaks English. Oh, really? Okay, so it's not uncommon. I thought
No,
it
but I
was
think
because everywhere I go, they're like, "Oh, you speak." Like I worked in like
I
customer service, frontline work, and then I would encounter a lot of people. They're like, "Oh, you Chinese?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then they're like, "Oh, you speak?" I'm like, "No."
I
And then
think
they,
I think it probably has a lot to do with where you ended up because
but no,
for
that's when we were living in San Diego.
no, I mean, but not when your parents. Like,
Oh, because they were in the
so
Midwest.
so your parents landed in the middle of Indiana for some reason, and there were not a lot of Asians around. So there's not
No,
an
there
Asian.
wasn't.
There may be a couple other Asians, and
There's
like
two other families that came with us.
yes, and so you don't really have a community, and so to fit
Well,
in,
thank you, Estelo. I didn't know because
yeah,
everyone else I talk to have different experiences, but
yeah,
most of the Asians I speak to grew up on the coast, either New
hmm
York area or the populated cities, or they grew up in Toronto,
yeah,
Canada, or they grew up on the West Coast. But I hardly meet any other Asians, hardly, that grew up in the Midwest, and most of the ones that I grew up with in the Midwest did not speak Chinese either. So,
yeah, yeah, and so they didn't, yeah, but I think what happened is they didn't have a community, and probably in order to fit in with the white people around them, they didn't want to be seen speaking it.
oh, okay, okay.
And
Oh, so funny.
or they were told you should stop speaking that because you're an American. And since your dad was such a simp, am I allowed to say that now?
Huh?
Since your dad was such a suck up to white people, he did it.
That's fine.
Um,
He is though. He
I,
worshipped. He was like the Andy Ngo, Ngo before Andy Ngo
he was
existed.
Andy Ngo before
He was
social media.
he's
Um,
a right wing conservative. I mean, this is the thing about my dad. My dad was a complete right wing. He was as white supremacist as you can get for an Asian person. And I'm
yeah,
not kidding you. I mean, I don't mean to sound really horrible, but I don't like racist people. My dad was extremely racist. And what I mean by that is that he looked down to other Asians. He did not if you went up to him and because he came from Vietnam, it's like, "Oh, so you're Vietnamese." My dad will glare at you. He's like, "I am not Vietnamese. Never call me Vietnamese." He hated Vietnamese people to death. And it was so disgusting. And I don't know why he hated his own people. But anyway, he was like, "I'm Chinese. I'm not Vietnamese." I'm like, "Okay, whatever, Dad." And he hated black people. He hated Hispanics. He hated everything that wasn't white. White people worshiping him too. Yeah, yeah. He's just my dad was
yeah,
horrible. I mean, like I said, he was really absent and not very he didn't express a lot of personality. He didn't have much to him, but he showed anger. He did show anger a lot and disgust. He would be always disgusted by other people. that
Okay.
weren't his that didn't live up to his standard.
Hmm.
How's that?
Yeah, and I think for a lot of for the people who landed on the coasts, which were a lot, which was probably the majority.
Oh, Yoshi, no, I'm sorry.
Um,
I'm sorry. I don't mean to say that. He just okay. So we owned a store. We owned a small beer wine store. Typical Asian family immigrant that owned some sort of business in the middle of nowhere. Anyway, they had a little mom pop beer wine store, and every time a black person would come in or a Hispanic person, my dad would watch him like a hawk, and then he used to like nudge me, and he'd be like, "Go follow them." I'm like, "Why?" And he's like, "Go follow." I mean, I was like 12 years old, and he's like, "Go follow them." I'm like, "Why?" They're gonna steal. I'm like,
yeah,
no, they're not. What are you talking about? He was that kind of ugly racist that just makes me
yes,
sick to my stomach. And
yeah,
I'm sorry to talk so evilly about my dad, but he was the worst kind of racist person. And I hate racist people so much. And I mean, I know it's a strong word. Hate is a very strong word. But I don't like bigoted people. I don't like how people judge on appearances. It's like it's not their fault they were born this way, and there was nothing wrong with being born that way in the first place. So it's just it's not
hmm,
like we have a checklist when we're born going, yes, I want this, and I want this, and I want this. I want to look like this. I want to, yeah. What? Why do humans have to judge other people by the way they look? It's not like we chose to be this way, right?
right. And I
Sorry.
think no, but I think for those that landed on the coast, which was the majority of them, they
It's kind of
were
sad to see immigrant Asians being Asian. I
yeah.
know, right, Estella? Exactly. It's like,
Well, they some
ugh.
people, I think but a couple things like yeah, for those on the coast, they were able to form their own communities, and so
Hmm.
and
Like we
uh,
didn't live near a Chinatown. Like the closest thing was in Chicago, which was like 3 hours away.
yeah. So you had the Chinatowns,
Oh no, you're not gonna meet him. I don't even want to see him, and I don't even know if he's still
you
alive.
had
That's
you
how
had
bad it is, Yoshi.
you had Westminster, you had those
No,
Vietnamese
it's not a bad
in
joke. You're fine,
Westminster.
Yoshi. You're fine. You're in good company.
Yeah, all the Vietnamese immigrants in Westminster who were able to open their markets and stuff, and so they were able to preserve,
Oh yeah,
they were
North Californian people, the NorCal people that are like a tight knit Vietnamese community. I
yeah
think they're lucky. I mean,
yeah, and
but
so
it
so
could be that I'm on the outside looking in. The grass is always greener on the other side.
well, I'm
I'm
not
sure
saying
there's
it's
hangouts that I don't know.
perfect,
I'm
and
not aware of.
I'm sure there's plenty of people there. I think for many Asians they covet the model, and I can't speak for anyone, probably at least with your parents' generation. They saw how bad black people were treated, and they coveted that model minority
Ugh.
status. That
By
they'd
the way,
rather
guys,
be,
don't ever believe in the model minority myth.
yeah, it's
It's
bullshit, but
bullshit. You know why it's there? It's there so that the white people, I mean the white racist people. When I say negatively white people, I mean the racist. I'm not talking about everybody. Like Safdie's white, he's not racist and he's not one of those people. I'm talking about the white people. They want finger pointing among the minorities. They want people to
yeah,
blame each other so they can get away with doing what they're doing.
yeah,
And they're placed on a pedestal higher up that than everybody else. You know what?
yeah.
Like like the disgusting narrative that oh, this makes me so sick to even recite it. I'm sorry. But you know that it's going around now because it's almost election here in the US that Mexicans are stealing jobs. No, they're not. Okay? Again,
This
they're
again,
not.
this is the same thing. Mexicans stealing jobs, yes. The tried and true campaign line, which is not technically true,
No.
because you can't steal a job, someone hires you.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I'm just saying,
The right wing has been using that since fucking ever. It's like, okay, guys, for someone to have a job, someone has to hire them.
yes, exactly. So I'm just saying that the model minority myth, right, being that
Yeah.
Asians are the best thing, it's to make everybody else hate each other. The quote unquote minorities, they hate each other, so that the white people can sit there and be like, and again, the white people I'm talking about are the racist ones that look down on others, not every other, not everybody. I'm just saying the people that look down on others. They just want to be like, haha, look at them. They're all fighting among themselves. Look at they're not they want a show. They want a show. So it's just like this is where I don't understand and I never will understand and it gets me so fired up and really pissed off. It's like we are all equally human being. We are all humans. Doesn't matter what you look like. You are human. Why are we putting one minority against another? Why? There's no point of it. I'm sure it probably happens even in like other European countries that are dominantly white, but I'm talking from the
Marin
U.S.
adjusts
expense.
Panda's
Hey,
hoodie.
Murhan!
バランチェック
Yeah,
ス
that's
Thank you
イン
for
true.
よこ
checking
そ。
in. It's the same no matter. Yeah, it's the same. Okay, I was just thinking. I've heard of something like that going on even in Europe. So, and considering that we are a European colony, so yay. Anyway,
Yeah.
there you go. They always complain about minorities stealing jobs, but at the same time, it's those jobs that minorities would do are like cleaning, watering. The majority wouldn't. Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, Estelo. Thank you. That's exactly right. It's like they take jobs that nobody else
Yeah.
wants to get for that pay. Okay, for the pay. You got to remember that there's a reason why most of the Caucasian, the native, quote unquote, you want to call them, I don't even want to call them natives, the established people that have a self-given right. There's a reason why they don't want to take those jobs. It's not because they don't want to do them, but they don't want to do them for the pay that they're offering. Get it? Right? But
Hmm.
but minorities don't have a choice, especially the immigrants that just come here. They don't have a choice. They have to take it
Yeah.
because that's what else is going to hire them, right? When I was
Right.
wrestling in Japan, I was insulted just for being American. Wow, really? I thought
Well,
I thought
that
Japanese liked Americans, but anyway.
well, so yes and no.
Yeah, I know.
Yes and no.
Yeah, it
I mean,
happens in other European. Yeah, exactly. I figured because I know you're in also in Europe,
yeah,
and I know that I think Cow has spoken briefly, kind of implying that there is some she's dealt with this a bit of racism as well. So yeah, I mean it's horrible. It's just
yeah,
horrifying that it is even a thing, right? But the thing is, for me, is they're like, go back to where you came from. I heard that all the time when I was growing up. And I'm like, I'm looking back at it going, if I did go back to China or Vietnam, I wouldn't fit in either because one, I don't know the language. Two, I don't know the culture. I wouldn't know how to fit in. I'm as American as Safety is. I'm as American as he is because this is all I know. Just because I
America.
don't look like your stereotypical American or everybody pictures as an American doesn't mean that I'm not American, right?
Yeah.
Gaijin, yeah,
Yes.
that's true. The Gaijin comment is the slur,
I think
unfortunately.
every one country has some people racist
I
towards.
just
Yeah.
think
Well,
of it.
yeah, that's for sure.
Wait. That some people who are racist towards someone that doesn't look like them. Yeah, people don't like. They don't like being. They don't like something that looks different than them. If that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, it totally makes sense, Yoshi. It does.
Yeah. Okay. Should I
Bro, I was born
continue?
in Europe, so when someone says to go back where I came from, I'm like, I was born here though.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, technically, I wasn't born here, but I was raised here. I mean, like literally, I was 2 months old. Estozo is like, I may as well have been born here, right? I mean, if you're 2 months old, yeah. And the only reason why I was born over there is because my the U.S. government specifically told the sponsorship, the church, that my parents, because they said that, yeah, my mom is pregnant, right? They said specifically they don't want an anchor baby. Let that sink in. They didn't want, the US said to the sponsorship, to the church, they did not want my parents to have an anchor baby. So my mom had to go through the whole pregnancy in a refugee camp, and this is probably why she hates me. And she probably festered a lot of hate and anger and frustration being on a small tiny island with no, like, nothing, hardly anything. A what
Yeah.
baby? Oh, you've never heard an anchor baby?
Wait. So an anchor. So an anchor
Sorry. It
baby
might
in the
be an outdated
U.S.
term now.
No, they still use it. So
Oh.
basically, in the U.S. and many countries, if you are born on the soil, you are a
Oh.
citizen. You are a citizen by birth. Anchor baby.
Okay.
So,
There, I
so in
typed it.
other words, so Panda is a citizen of the U.S. now, but she was born in this. She was born. They were only allowed to. If she had been born in the U.S., she would have been a natural born citizen at birth.
Mm-hmm.
And so, had then the government decided, you know what, we want to get rid of these people. Having a citizen child makes that a little more difficult,
Mm-hmm.
and messy. And so it's that ultimately that didn't happen, but she had to go through the naturalization process to become a U.S. citizen, like her parents did. So an anchor baby is if I have a child in the U.S.
And you're not a U.S. citizen.
If I have a child in the U.S. and I'm not a U.S. citizen, that baby is a U.S. citizen
Hmm.
because they were born in the U.S. 14th Amendment. Um, and so a lot of countries have similar laws. If you're born there, you are a citizen now. Um, and so there every country has different laws surrounding citizenship, so it's not necessarily guaranteed. Some countries don't recognize dual citizenship, like Japan, and so when you reach age of majority you have to choose. Um but for example, especially if you don't live there, but in the US, if you were born in the US, you are a US citizen for life, and there's no real means that the government has to strip you of your citizenship in that scenario
I
legally.
think there are other countries, Avatar. I think there's a few other
Yeah,
countries.
there are a few other countries. A lot of
There's a lot
countries
of
don't
central.
actually
There's now
do
a
it.
lot of Central and South American countries that do the birthright
Yeah,
thing too. Like
yeah,
that's why there's the birth passport thingy
yeah. There
that's
are
going
some
around.
people.
So
Yeah, there.
a lot of people are like, oh, I want to give my kid dual citizenship to this other country somewhere in Central or South America.
Yeah,
I read about this somewhere. I was reading about it. It was recent. It was like
yeah,
within the last 4 years or so, and so they go they call it birthright, like the
yeah.
passport. So they fly down there, have their kid down there, and they have U.S. citizenship and whatever the other country is. It is like
Mm.
what? Anyway, it's
And
more for the privileged
yes,
people though.
yes, it's and because there's other laws that state that if your parents are if your parents are citizens, even if you're born abroad, you are a U.S. citizen. So now they are dual citizenship.
Hmm.
Now they're dual citizens, and because of our laws, they're still considered U.S. citizens even though they weren't born here. Um, um, which is yes, but they don't call it that when it's wealthy people having kids in other countries that have birthright citizenship. They don't call it anchor babies. They call it passport hacking or some
Yeah,
other citizenship hack or something
anchor
like
baby
that.
is only for like the
Anchor
poor
baby
people.
means yeah, anchor baby means Mexican kid born in the U.S. That's basically what it is
Hey, me
classically meant.
too.
Yes, but I'm just saying they didn't want
Immigrant, just immigrant
immigrant kid,
from
but
another
yes, it's
country. Yes,
usually
poor immigrant. Sorry, poor
it is
immigrant.
usually directed towards
Well, currently, yes,
Hispanics and people, especially a child born to people who are not here in a documented fashion is the most common
which is
use of the
sad.
term. But it's used anywhere. I mean, technically it can be used
And I'm
on
only
anyone
bringing
who
this up
is
right now because it is a huge narrative right now,
born
and
to
it's
non-citizens.
disgusting. It's utterly disgusting. It's just
Yeah.
like, again, with the transactional thing. Ugh. Anyway.
Yeah. But
Okay. Anyway. Oh.
yeah, sorry, we can continue the
Yeah.
father wounds and daughters.
Yeah.
Okay, father wounds and daughters. Daughters who experience a father wound may grow up feeling like they're not good enough. As a result, they may struggle with low self-esteem and lack of confidence. This one's the classic daddy issue thing. A father
Mhm.
wounded daughters often tends to reveal itself in a pattern of unhealthy relationships. Daughters with father wounds typically crave the love they didn't get from their father, making them more likely to accept unhealthy behaviors from romantic partners. Furthermore, our caregivers' behavior often forms the basis of our expectations of relationships.
Myron
So
wants
if someone
Safety
was
to put
taught
this
to
over his
accept being
eyes.
Oh.
abandoned, abused, or criticized as children, they may be more likely ever to accept its behavior in a romantic partner.
Safety.
Hmm.
Monocle.
Oh,
Sorry. I thought you heard it.
no, I'm just waiting until I finish the
Oh,
paragraph
okay.
to check what's going on.
Okay. Thank you, Marhan.
Um, yeah, although women with a father wound may, of course, have differing sexualities, the following patterns towards men are common. Women who experience a father wound in childhood may grow up struggling to trust men. They developed an avoidant attachment as a result of their father wound. They may avoid intimacy and a
Myron wants
close
Safety
connection
to
with a
place this on his
romantic
Mustache.
face
partner.
or neck.
In contrast, the father wound will cause the daughter to develop an anxious attachment style. They may seek intense closeness and reassurance from men. Their self their sense of self-worth may hinge on this reassurance and validation, and when they don't receive it, they may start to feel anxious, insecure, or lose confidence. If you're wondering which attachment style you have, you can take our free quiz and receive a report. Healing father wounds isn't easy, but it is possible. If you experience a father wound and want to heal, follow the practical strategies in the following section. How to come
Oh,
over
I gotta move him.
a bit of
Boop,
how
boop,
to
boop, boop,
overcome the
boop,
father
boop,
wound.
boop, boop.
practical tips. Overcoming the father wound isn't a straightforward endeavor, is often muddled with difficult and painful emotions. However, it is possible to heal from the father wound with the help of effective tips and strategies. Recognize your father wound. Step one. The fact that you are reading this article gives a good indication that you already recognized your father wound. So perhaps take comfort in the fact that you are a part of the way they are already. However, if you have an avoidant attachment style, you may be tempted to fall into patterns of avoidance, self denial, or suppression around pain, loss, and anger surrounding your father wound. This response is natural as these emotions are difficult to feel and manage, particularly if you're not sure what to do with them. Furthermore, some families may normalize father wounds, making it seem to that the hurt and pain you've experienced is normal. The inner belief that your experience is like everyone else's can also make a father wound difficult to recognize. Yet, by recognizing the attachment trauma you experienced as a child and the impact it has on your adult life, you begin to heal.
There's a lot of attachment quiz. You don't have to take it off of this one. It's called the attachment theory, by the way.
Hmm.
There's four of them. So you have secure attachment, which is usually where you're confident in yourself. Not like I'm not talking about like narcissistic tendencies or anything. Where you're confident in your own abilities, you're a happy person, you can get along with others, you're not afraid of them, you don't want to hole yourself up, you don't really deal with like anxiety or I mean, everybody normally will have bouts of depression and anxiety, but I'm talking about constant, um, uh, where it's like, how to say, what's the word I'm looking for? It's the constant word, but what is it? Safety, help. Chronic,
Incessant?
like
Chronic,
chronic, yeah,
chronic, chronic.
chronic.
Okay.
Sorry, chronic depression, chronic anxiety, where it's like ongoing for months. I'm not talking little bouts. Like everybody will get a little bit of depression every once in a while and just be like, oh, I feel like, I feel like holding myself in the room. But the next day, you're all fine and cheery and you can go on with your life. That's normal. But I'm talking about chronic stuff where you just want to you kind of just detach from everything. So okay, so the secure is not that. Secure is like here I can probably find here attachment theory. Yeah, here's a good image. Here's some good images. Uh, what? Come on. Anyway, yeah, you can just Google it. Where is that image? Okay, here it is. Okay. So secure. Secure is a if you can see here, positive model of others, low avoidance, positive model of self, low anxiety. So the difference is like you view of others and view of yourself. So if you have a good appearance, you feel good about yourself and you feel good about others, where you don't feel afraid of others and you don't feel afraid of yourself, you are secure, a secure attachment. Okay. And that is majority of people, actually. That's actually a lot of people. And that typically means you had a good example of both parental, you had a good not perfect, no, there's no such thing as perfect, but you had a good upbringing, you had good positive peers around you, you weren't like completely bullied and beat up and everything like that. So anyway, so anxious attachment is what they were kind of talking about. um, you have a positive self of others, but you have a negative self view. You don't think well of yourself. So you always think nobody wants to be near you, and you always feel like you're a bother to people. And that's the anxious attachment. So avoidant is you have a positive view of yourself, but negative view of others. Like so you see how the self, others, right? So you have a positive view of yourself, but others you just think, I don't want to deal with them. They're pain in the ass. I don't want to have friends. I don't care about people. I just want to do my own thing. And most people that I see like that feel confident enough to sit there and tell others how to do something, how to play a game, how to do this without letting them have fun, without I'm talking about backseating, unwarranted advice, that kind of stuff. They're usually in this section. They're usually in the avoidant attachment section. They feel they view themselves well, but they don't view others as well. They view others as inferior, um, whatever. They just don't want anything to do with it, so they push them away. Anyway, so and then there's the fearful, or there's another name for it, the fearful or the anxious avoidant. It's like combination of anxious and avoidant. So you think negatively of yourself and of others, right? You just don't want to even exist. You just yeah, this is where I am. Honestly, this is
Yeah.
actually where I'm working on with my therapy. I'm right here.
Yeah. So
I
I
I just don't. and it's not that I think negative, like I'm gonna talk down to people. I feel like I just don't get along with anybody, you know? Like I can't get along with even myself. I feel like I am a problem to everybody in myself. And that is in part something to do with my upbringing. You know, being told that you're worthless and by your parents, you know, like if your parents, if you grew up hearing that you're worthless and piece of shit and you know you shouldn't be here and you know I wish you were never born and you should have died on the island and I wish if I could kill you I would. That kind of stuff really leaves an impact on your self-worth to say the least. So I'm in that kind of category right now that I don't know where to be and I don't know what I like and I don't know what to do with my life. So the attachment theory is a big thing. Anyway, so there's a lot of attachment style quizzes out there. You don't have to take the one that's on this quest. Um, but yes, I highly recommend looking into it. Again, it's a theory. It's not a real thing. I mean, not, it is a real thing, but it's a theory that psychologists are working on right now.
Yeah.
And it can make a huge impact on how you view the world. I knew you were trouble when you walked in, but it's okay. You are our trouble now. Oh no, I'm sorry, Estella.
Yeah. Yes.
uh,
Um, where was I? Oh, part two.
oh,
Number two.
sorry.
Method two, learn to love yourself. Many people with a father wound feel as if their dad didn't love them, which often motivates them to go searching for that lost love in a romantic relationships in adulthood. Fortunately, this desperation to be loved can mean we accept unhealthy forms of love, which can repeat the patterns of abuse and emotional availability over time. Therefore, if you experience a father wound, it's important to offer yourself the love that you want to find in others. You can love yourself in various ways, such as keeping gratitude journal, where you record the things about life you are grateful for each day, treating yourself with kindness and compassion, and adapting how you speak to yourself. For example, instead of thinking I'm such a failure, you get something wrong, reframe this as I can't do this yet, but I can learn. Taking care of your physical health through exercise, adequate sleep, and healthy diet, which is hard here in America. Anyway, 3, seek support from a mental health professional, because Panda and I are not mental health professionals. The father wound is a deep attachment trauma that can have a profound emotional impact on you, so it can feel difficult to tackle on your own. It's possible you heal from a father wound on your own. It's easier to support a mental health professional. Mental health professionals, such as a counselor, psychologist, or psychiatrist, can provide a safe, non-judgmental space for you and process your thoughts, feelings related to your father wound.
Genshin.
If you have never
Oh my
experienced
god.
a
Yeah,
healthy
every time you
relationship
see
before,
impact, don't you doesn't that come in your head? It's like every time you hear the word you see the word impact, you're like, "Hey." You know? Anyway.
yes, if you have never experienced a healthy relationship before, your therapist can also show you what it feels like, enabling you to make healthier decisions in romantic relationships and friendships in the future. Healing the father wound for sons and daughters. So, some strategies for healing a father wound are universal, helping both men and women. However, as this attachment trauma can manifest differently in men and women, there are also gender for specific strategies to consider healing your father wound. Strategy for healing the father wound in sons. Don't be like your father. Many men reported healing from their father wounds is choosing not to be like their dads when they become parents themselves. Of course, this
SJT
change may be
Striker
easier said than done.
2023
However, it's
adjusts
reassuring to see
Panda's
this
hoodie.
research
Oh,
demonstrates an increasing number of men shaking off the traditional fathering practices they learned from their dads. For example, the last 10 years, studies suggest many men are becoming more emotionally expressive and involved in their children's lives.
see, and that's a big thing. Especially like I said, last 10 years. It is and I've noticed that
Mhm.
too, that a lot of men are a lot more expressive than they used to be. And I've got to say that it mostly belongs to the younger millennials and from like middle and younger millennial ages, like in their they're currently like in their early 30s, I would say, like early mid 30s and younger are they seem to be able to express themselves better than say somebody Safety in my age, because
Yeah,
we were still told a lot of guys were still told, man up, you know, be a
yes.
man, don't cry, you're such a wussy crybaby, you're not supposed to cry, you're not supposed to show any emotion, you're supposed to buck it up and deal with it, right? Deal with it like a man, you know, you're supposed to be like, yeah. Anyway, I'm proud of all of you younger people that can do that now and keep it up, because I think it's a much more healthier fashion than keeping everything pent up inside. It's really good to
Yes.
see men showing emotions more now. Yeah, I hate the toxic. Exactly. We were just talking about that, Stella, that I think the biggest problem with a lot of father wounds these days, the main source of it anyway, is toxic masculinity that surrounds our society. The societal what men should be, I think is holding back a lot of people. Yeah, don't cry, you're a man. Yeah, exactly. It's like, what? Let them cry. They're human. It's not about being man or woman. It's about being human. Humans are built to show all emotions, right? And I'm not saying that everybody is a cry because there's a lot of people that just can't cry, men or women. But the boys that need to cry. I remember growing up with a kid that was also part of the small little circle of Asian people, but he also didn't speak Chinese, and he was like 2 years younger than I was, and he was a big crybaby, is what he everybody would call him. And I'm like, but he can cry. Let him cry. I just like I would go over there and just put my arm around him and just be like, it's okay, right? And everybody else is making fun of him, and I'm like, why are they doing this? I mean, this usually causes people just find other means to release their rage and yeah, grief, sorrow, sadness, and hurt. Yeah, those are normal human emotions, right? But yeah, and the
Yep.
new wave of millennial parents raising empathetic children make me cry. I know, right, Cal? I mean, again, not everything, no, nothing is perfect. There's always going to be some hiccup, some bump in the road. But I see that a lot more uh, open, that people are just like, let their kids be who they are and let them grow up to be who they are, right? I remember even like the family I lived with that adopted my child, right? The one I had out of rape, but um their son was very effeminate. He is what would be considered a pretty much, that younger middle millennial right now. He's like in his mid 30s now, but when I was living with him, he's 9. He was 9 years old and he made the cutest flower bouquets from wildflowers. Like he would just go out in the field, pick flowers and arrange them in the most beautiful way. Like he had this eye that just knew exactly where to put what flower. He didn't just bunch them all together. He like arranged them. And this was just like a natural gift. And I'm like that is so beautiful. And I'm like he's going to be such a lady killer. And his mom looks at me, he's like, "Is he though? I wonder if he's really going to like the if it's the ladies he's going to be leaning to." I'm like, "What are you saying?" And they're very very religious people. And I'm like, they're super like crazy kind of religious, and which is kind of scary to me. And she was like, "I'm worried about my son. He's gonna go towards the guys, not the girls." And I'm like, "And what's wrong with that? I don't. Who cares, right? Like love is love." And she's like, "No, no, it's not." And I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "What am I getting in myself into?" I didn't want to argue it out. I just like sat there and just like, wow. I'm like, "But this is a gift." And I was holding the bouquet of flowers. I'm like, "This is a gift." Um, he really knew how to arrange the flowers. It was gorgeous. It was like he had a centerpiece. And this is a 9 year old. Okay, this is a freaking 9 year old, and I was amazed at his talent at it. And this boy also liked to paint his nails. He liked to wear dresses. I know this. And his mom and dad were. His mom was a little more lax about it, but his dad hated it. His dad actually threw away all his and they're old dresses that he got from like they would pick up from like the thrift stores and stuff like that. Around the wrong people, exactly. And he was just such a very amazing kid. And I know it sounds weird, but I kind of I kind of follow. I don't use social media, but I did log in when he did use Instagram. He became an amazing cosplayer, by the way, and he did a lot of gender bends of a lot of anime characters and Marvel and DC comics, and he did an amazing job. He did like perfect makeup. He made his own costumes. He was amazing. And I'm just, and then later on he ended up deleting it, and I'm like, uh-oh, because it's like his parents didn't like his hobbies. So,
Yeah.
so I comment that's
Yes.
one of the reasons I love One
Thanks.
Piece. So many men shed tears. Oh, okay, I see, I see. I've never seen One Piece because I don't really watch shonen anime, but um I'm glad that they're able to express their emotions.
Sorry.
Oh, you want to do the? Oh, sorry.
No, I need to finish this article.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Okay. Da-da-da. Strategy for healing the father wound.
And
But they
sons.
in typos because this is supposed to be daughters.
Hmm?
Daughters with father wounds often seek out men
Oh,
who
that
treat
is
them in
yeah, oh,
similar ways
that
to
is a
their dad.
typo.
So once they have taken the time to love yourself, so you don't feel the need to seek love or approval from a romantic partner, it's where to look for and attract secure partners who are emotionally available and who will respect you. The secure partner will be honest, open, trusting, and will show emotional vulnerability. You'll also consistently show support and warmth rather than blowing hot or cold, seeming interested
That's
1 minute
funny.
and understood the next. Secure partners will also have healthy boundaries and respect the limits you put in place. To find out more about what to look for in a partner, check out our article on attracting a partner with a secure attachment style. This is also not dating advice, but go ahead and
Yeah.
click on it if you want later. The final word on the father wound. The bond with both our caregivers is important, but we often rely on our dads to keep us safe, protect us, and offer us advice. So when we don't have this figure to rely on, we develop a father wound. Father wounds can significantly impact how we see ourselves and others. We see ourselves as not good enough and have a slow sense of self worth. We also might struggle to trust others or alternatively throw ourselves into their arms to
Cow.
try to make up for the love we didn't receive from our dads, causing a pattern of unhealthy relationships. While it can be difficult to recognize and heal from the father wound, it's reassuring to know it's completely possible. By learning to love yourself, seeking the support of a trained and licensed professional, and by learning the unhealthy patterns of the past, you can overcome your father wound.
Yeah, I don't like the very religious people, to be honest. Yeah, I'm not really fond. I mean, there's a difference between having faith and then being like a bigot. I don't know how else to say it. Like judgmental bigot. Like I think having faith in a God is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you sit there and force your beliefs on others, that's when it becomes a problem. That's when I think, no, let people have the freedom to be who they are. As long as it doesn't hurt anybody else, I don't see anything wrong with being who you are, right? A girl with daddy issues can lead to unsavory job. Yeah, I mean, in some ways though, and I like I said, I can say unfortunately I have my own daddy issues, but and Safety and I are not perfect together, but we've worked out a lot of stuff. A biggest thing to make a relationship work in general is simply being supportive and open communication. So we've been together 22 years, but I can't say that it was, sunshine and rainbows the whole way, right? Anyway, you want to do that now, Safety?
How
So
much time do we have on ads?
I have no idea when the ads will kick in, but this is not a long one, so
Okay.
we forgot to do one word story last week. So we do these ones 22, well, technically 23 years together, but 22 married. But yeah, well, one word story is a channel on our Discord. Again, if you want to partake in this, this is up to you, but last
I
month wasn't
can.
that crazy, but
I mean, I do have the
sometimes.
optional pre-roll. Well, I'm not. We could probably snooze at least once. All right. I got to play the official Sati Peace Theater theme song on
Oh,
my kazoo.
okay.
Yeah, this one for some reason is
Really small, but
short. So you guys please contribute. All right. Good evening. This is Safety Peace Theater. I am your host, Seftorius T. Kuma. I am going to read you a story from our Discord server in my fake British accent, my fake British Isles accent, created by the Bamboo Forest community. Today's story is brought to you by Namco, creators of the Tales series. And, oh yes, sorry, I apologize. I thought I gave you a version that had the names on it. Uh-oh. Oh shit. Okay, I can't snooze. Can't snooze. Okay. Well, technical difficulties. I'm having technical difficulties.
well, we can just read it after we get back, and then I'll upload
Yes.
the new one. All right.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll be back
Okay,
after the ads.
okay, don't.
Cow.
I thought I gave you one. If you don't have
No,
it,
I
it's
don't
fine.
have it. I will change it out in the ads. We're gonna take a 3-minute ad break because it won't let us snooze them anymore. So I'm sorry. But yeah, we'll be right back and we'll read it and I'll get the right version up. Okay. Anyway, we'll be right back in about 3 minutes.
With 6 bedrooms and 7 bathrooms, and that looked honestly like a mini mansion.
It broke. Broke again.
I understand location is a huge factor on price, but still, the fact the price different.
Please be Coco. Please. Is it Coco? Don't open my eyes. Is it Coco? Is it Coco? Yamatsu. Is it? It's her! She came home! Yay! Thank you guys. Oh wow! I forgot I can't. I'm back. Sorry, I forgot I can't change it on the other screen. I need to change it here. Hold on a second. Let me change it. I was like, how do I change? Oh wait. So there we go. Yeah, I didn't have this option.
Yes.
But I need
Okay.
to move you
Now
over.
I need to move again. Oh,
Boop 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 boop.
Alistair cookie.
I'll make it.
Good enough. Okay. All right. We are back from the break. It is I again, Sartorius T. Kuma, and we are back with RTP's Theatre. I don't know where. I might have to take my wizard hat off, won't I? Then I cannot
Yeah, I'm
cast
like,
magic.
how do I put you there? like,
All right,
like
I won't be
covered.
able to cast magic missile, but I don't need to attack the darkness tonight. Okay. Okay. I am back. All right, I'll put the wizard hat back later. I promise. All right, today's story is brought to you by Namco and also Konami and also Sony, I guess, and these following authors: Sly Pie, Nefro, Safety Kuma, Pandagiri, Zienda, Luck, Ghost Project, Trustuo, and Jake the Psyduck.
Sorry, I guess I'm covering your name. Okay, there.
I begin.
There's Trust and
Exit.
Jake's name. Sorry.
Okay. Exit via Silverant, Tetheala, and Alderant. Paradise Utopia. What a tribe! Style sliding monkey bars. Slay. Metal Gear Solid. Snake! Oh, snake? Okay. Box mango flavored peanuts. Eating bear technology. Boop, flip, dance. Dance revolution. Flip, flap, flop, dedge, sag, bedge, hedge, olge, sledge, molge. Is it is this Gen Y speak? Or am I wait, uh, you darn kids these days in your Pac-Man video games and your punk music and your CD players? I don't understand. Is this even English anymore? What have you done to the mother tongue? What the hell is molge? It's what happens when we let Americans speak our language. Anyhow, if you want to create a better story than this with less weird words, join the Bamboo Forest Discord community. Join the One Word Story channel. Create one word at a time based stories. Just type in one word at a time. Just one, please, at a time. And you too can be part of Safety Piece Theater.
Oh my god.
Sorry, I've been listening to that song like on repeat like all day.
All
So
day, yeah.
I gotta play it on kazoo.
Um,
So you get a free song at the end too.
no, nothing to be sorry about. Yeah, it's all good. He's, but anyway, yes. So, and I'm not encouraged. Like, this is only for fun. This is only a joke. It's on our Discord. It's a one word story, and everybody just drops any word that you think of. It doesn't even have to make sense with the what the last person leave behind. Just make sure you keep it safe for work. That's all we ask. And yeah, if you want to participate, it's right there on our Discord. If not, don't worry about it. But yeah, this is just for fun. It's just we wanted to do something silly. We read these once a month. He closes the story. We were supposed to read it last week and we forgot. So
Yeah, we did forget. Sorry. I
hey,
apologize for that.
Francie, welcome back. So which article did you want me to go to this time?
Let's see.
Because we only have time for one more, so we're gonna just do one more article. I don't know which one we're gonna do.
Or how about
Rope
how our
underscore
family
Francie reminds
relationships?
everyone to
Maybe that
stay
is that much too
hydrated.
wordy?
Wait, which one?
I was gonna say how our family relationships impact us, the father wound.
Which one is that one?
from Alive Counseling, but it is
Oh, that one.
it is pretty it is pretty wordy, but also
There's a lot of like a lot
this
of overlap, but not a lot. Like, yeah, okay. I will go to this one then.
yes, this is interesting and but it is like does look like it is a maybe a faith-based counseling, says a disclaimer.
A faith base. Oh, it does. Okay, I didn't
I mean,
know.
I'm not saying the information is bad, but
There might be some religious overtones in it. Yeah.
there may be some things at the bottom that I won't read.
Oh, and hey, Francie, and yeah, Striker, I turned off a lot of the interrupting ones because I just didn't want to be flying across the screen when we were talking about something serious. So I'll turn it back on for next week. You can just save your points and blast away all you want to next week or yeah, next week's stream. So gotta go to dinner. Okay, have a good dinner, Sophonic. Thank you for being here. Take care and enjoy. And thank you for the proving on the faux British accent, Cow. Thank you, thank you.
You're approving of the
Yeah,
fake
Cow
one.
Cow approved it. She's from the UK, so
Well, okay.
she will be the one to say it. She approves.
Sorry if I have insulted your ethnicity or
It breaks up the sadness of the topic, I guess, but I
it
just didn't want it
does.
to just go off on it, you know. It's not really so much sad, is I it is sad, but it's more intended to be educational. It was actually so good. Oh, I'm glad.
I'm glad you thought it was good because I think it's pretty bad. You should hear
Safty's
my
being
fake
silly.
You should hear my fake Italian. I was thinking about switching to another fake bear. I have my Italian alter ego or something.
Mm,
But I figured the story was too short.
nah.
Maybe I'll bring the. Who do you guys like better? Do you guys like Don Saftorio better, or do you like Monsieur Safdie better?
Oh my God, no. They're both equally silly. It's a very serious topic that affects people's emotions. Yeah, it is. It is definitely Striker. I
I
just
think
didn't know if it was appropriate to have that turned on. So Safety was like, "Yeah, you should probably turn it off." So
I think Don Saftorio is a little better. I
which
can
one's
fake that.
done? Is that's the
Don Saftorio is the Italian
oh,
bear.
your Italian one? Okay,
Monsieur
yes,
Safdie is the one time I did the French bear,
the
which
French one. Yeah,
I'm not going to do Senor Safdie because
you should hear my
even
fake
though
NA.
Senor Safdie
It's fine,
exists,
Cow. I'm sure you're better at it.
even though Senor Safdie exists in
See,
canon.
all above. Yeah, there you go, Yoshi. There
Yeah,
you go. All above.
Senor Safdie exists in canon in canon in the Saftverse, um but I don't want to use that one on stream because it might come off as bad. Maybe I should practice a German accent and bring like
How do you?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, that's not. He's not German though.
He's Austrian. Okay,
Yeah, okay, well, not the
close
same.
enough. He speaks German. Anyway, how our family relationship impacts us. The father wound. Do 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 do. One of my
Get to the chopper.
supervisors
Yeah.
One of my supervisors in graduate school and a mentor of mine is one of the top therapists in the country on attachment theory and attachment work. As a mother and a wife, I am so intrigued by this. And as a therapist, I use this to help people understand their upbringing and how it impacts their relationships with others and themselves in the present day. Essentially, attachment theory focuses on how our family met or did not meet our physical and emotional needs in childhood, reverberates and impacts how we relate to ourselves and others in friendships, relationships, parenting, work, hobbies, self esteem, and more. Explain this more in therapy and other blog resources, but I highly recommend the Attachment Progress Project quiz to determine your attachment style. Articles on Psychology Today focus on the family for Christian counseling resources, which I do not endorse
No, yeah.
personally, but
I
this
do not
person
endorse
does.
any. I don't endorse this at all.
Yeah,
They're horrible. I don't
and
know.
my favorite book, How Safe House,
Psychology Today is good though.
yeah, how emotional safety is key to raising kids who live, love, and lead well by Dr. Joshua Strupp. We
Who
will
no
highlight the
ideas.
father wound here in the article from Dr. Marvey Covenant 8 Consequences of the
I
Father
didn't
Wound.
realize this was like Christian one.
Yeah, it's still interesting. It's still
Okay.
different than the other
All
ones are
right.
kind of regurgitate, but this one's a little
Yeah.
different. Being raised, she says, scrolling further down is the father
Oh,
wound
they have
from
a
a
mother
Christian
wound there.
counseling perspective.
Yeah.
You also read my resource on the mother wound here, so I
Hmm.
will not read that Christian part.
No.
But 8 consequences of the father wound on well-being and relationships. Relationships with men have always been difficult for Jane. Obviously fake name. She's often ended up having relationships with emotionally unavailable men. They may initially show interest, yet as she starts to attach and show interest in them, they disappear or withdraw from contact by coming up with various excuses. She has been in a relationship with the current partner for 3 years, and Jane feels like she wants to take the next step and start settling down, but her partner does not feel ready. He says that he wants to focus on his career. He has no time for thinking about about having a family. Jane is devastated. She doesn't know what to do. She has lost her faith in men. Jane grew up with a father. Jane grew up with a father, was away for work a lot. There's a typo there. When he was around, he was often hiding behind his newspaper. Jane and his youngest
There's so many typos, isn't there?
Jane and his her I'm assuming her younger brother were
Yeah.
often told to be quiet because Daddy was tired and in a bad mood. Occasionally, Jane's father would drink and then he frightened her. Jane had a friend whose father was often playing with the kids, laughing and joking with them, and she wished her father was like that. As a child, she wondered why her father did not like spending time with her and blamed herself. Jacob is a successful business owner. He feels that his work is a place where he feels at the most at ease. He grew up with most of his life without knowing his biological father. They struggled financially, and Jacob decided early on that he wanted life to be different. Her mother was vague about this father until he was in 20s, and his mother said that his father had left when Jake was 2 years old. He had no recollection of him. His mother had various boyfriends over the years, and some lasted longer than others. Jacob always told himself that he is fine without knowing his father. When he became then a father himself in his early 30s, he was flooded with feelings of anxiety and dread. He didn't have a clue on how to be a father. He often hid at work as it felt uncomfortable having a child that needed him. He felt ashamed as he had always told himself that he would be present for his children. Suddenly, he felt he could not be the father he wanted to be.
I almost wonder if your dad did struggle with something similar to this.
Yes, but my dad was 18 when his father
Yeah,
died.
but like I said, his dad was also sick and probably didn't teach him a lot of stuff.
Right. Now, yeah. But is there something that resonates with you about either of these stories? I had previously written about the mother wound from a more female perspective and how the mother wound impacts men. Father wound, which refers to father absenteeism, whether emotionally or both emotionally and physically, and or your father being very critical, negative, and even abusive character, can impact individuals and their future relationships in so many ways. I wanted to write about the pain of not having good enough father because it is such an important area. Hope this brings some relief for your pain in terms of understanding its impact if you have experienced the father wound.
Oh, and yeah, so fine. Like, Christian stuff is usually fine as long as it's not a. I like I said, there's a difference between being religious and having faith in something.
Yeah.
I don't mind when people have faith. I don't like the at least the people that I grew up around in Western Michigan. They were the types that were like,
I
if you
like
don't
how you
believe in God, you're gonna.
I like how you single out American
It is
Christians
funny
because
though.
I do have a
They're
tendency to agree with you, but
yes, the American Christians are the what do you call those? Evangelicals, right? Isn't that what
yeah, well, yeah, like
evangelicals are typically the American Christians, right? Yeah,
yes,
and they're just kind of a different breed of Christianity. I get it, but
yeah,
I don't mind people having faith, and then I'm not an atheist myself. I believe in something, but not like any man-made god or anything like that. Um, I just I don't know. I don't like the people that
yeah,
force it down your throat and make you say, they're like, if you don't believe in God, you're gonna burn in hell. I heard that so much when I was growing up, and I'm just like, no, no,
yeah.
that's okay.
But yeah, there are certain like she makes references to a group that I can't endorse here, and also
Yes,
I'm gonna,
exactly.
but the general stuff is fine. How does the father wound impact adult well-being and relationships? Low self-esteem and low confidence. Children are self-centered by nature. They often blame themselves for anything negative that happens in childhood, particularly if it is not clearly explained to them.
Is your mic away from your?
Sorry. Your inner critic, the internal voice, may be saying you are not worthy of good things or you're not good enough because your father left. Growing up, you may have felt different as a child if all your friends had two parents and you grew up without a father. Anxiety. There could be a combination of things and events that have contributed to you experiencing anxiety. Growing up with an emotionally absent father may have left you with feeling I am not good enough, and perhaps you have hidden feelings such as sense of loss, anger, shame, sadness, and anxiety is trying to keep those deeper emotions at bay. Low mood slash depression. Over time, your anxiety can turn to low mood. On the other hand, you may have internalized your anger towards your father and him being absent and feel depressed as a result. Anger and rage. Perhaps you have had the worst kind of experience with your father. Perhaps he used substances, was abusive, lying, and otherwise unreliable man, whose behavior deeply hurt you.
Okay.
Huh?
He just said, Striker said, be right back. I'm like, okay.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah. You may displace your anger that doesn't have an outlet somewhere else, like experiencing road rage, or feels it is not appropriate for you to express anger in other ways. You may also feel anger and rage wherever there's a conflict in a relationship. Too rigid boundaries. If your other has been unreliable, perhaps by not showing up or even being absent from your life, you may have decided that you cannot let people, romantic partners, close to you and you have to protect yourself. The pain of dealing with the aftermath of being let down by your father, especially as a young child, may feel worse than the loneliness rigid boundaries can cause.
Hmm.
I recently wrote a post about is fear being influenced by other influencers. Is the fear of being influenced by the other influence ruining your relationship? Too loose boundaries. Opposite problem. You may feel you have to be available to everyone else at all the time. Perhaps deep down you may feel that to be loved by others, you cannot hold your boundary and say no when something does not suit you. You may wish to read people pleasing can make you anxious,
Here's the
resentful.
link if you
Opposite.
want to read it for yourself.
Yeah.
I forgot to
Ha-
link it.
having relationship emotionally unavailable partners. Unless we are aware of it, we often seek the same dynamic in our remote in our romantic relationships as we experienced in childhood. You may have an unconscious wish to repair the early father wound by having a relationship with a person that creates similar and familiar feelings within you as you experienced in your childhood. We often gravitate towards something that feels familiar because at least we know what we are dealing with.
Hmm.
Being in a relationship with someone consistent and reliable can feel potentially and emotionally threatening. I've also written a post about the impact how early relationships impact adult relationships. If you often choose emotionally unavailable partners, you may experience a lot of relationship anxiety. The partner is, for their reasons, unable to offer you the security you need. You may end up engaging in various behaviors to get their attention, such as nagging, excessive messaging, oversharing, or other behaviors that may feel unsettling for your partner. Parenting, repeating the pattern of an emotionally absent parent. Parenting is hard, and when you first become a parent, you are flooded with feelings that may be linked to your own experience of being parented or experiencing lack of parenting. You may distance yourself from your child and struggle to build an identity as a good enough parent. You experience childhood emotional neglect. You may repeat a pattern as you don't know any different. Perhaps you became a practical parent and struggle with emotionally engaging with your children. You find this post useful. Parenting when you have experienced child emotional neglect and or trauma. Next steps. If you now thought, well, what can I do with this? The first step is acknowledging your emotions. This may be difficult for you. Finding someone who can discuss your fatherhood and how it impacts you today is important. Perhaps, perhaps it is with your partner or a trusted friend. Therapy can also help you heal those emotional wounds that have caused by the fatherhood. If
Yeah,
you're looking for a therapist to help you address your difficulties,
it's
please
okay.
contact us at Alive Counseling today. We also offer a free
We do
10-minute
not
phone
endorse that. We
conversation.
don't know who these people are. We're just reading their article, just so
Yes,
you know.
and
And
of
now
course
this
they have.
is
If you're interested in the Christian
Christian.
perspective, you can read that yourself. But
Yeah,
I'm not going to read it.
yeah. Um, but yeah,
Uh,
there's this other stuff like
but I do encourage, but if I do encourage you to watch if you're interested in fatherhood from a Christian perspective, I do encourage you to watch the show Lucifer. No.
oh my God, Safety, no. Anyways, there's other articles I found. I mean, that I don't know if we're gonna have time because I noticed it's just almost 5 now, and I'm like, oh wait, I was expecting to go until like 3, and this ended up being later than that. But yeah, there's like so many articles. If you just look up mother wound versus father wound, like this one says the roots of both mother and father wounds stem from some type of neglectful parenting. Um, a therapist in San Francisco. In Western culture, you typically associate the mother with a sense of abundant love and acceptance. I think I read this during the mother wound thing. Your mother
Yeah.
is seen as a place of refuge when the world injures you, physically or emotionally. On the other hand, the father is typically seen as the protector, the provider of guidance, and the parent to support you in moving out into the world. And so, yeah, it's just like this is the problem is like, and I think I actually read this whole article originally in the when I was talking about mother wounds last month. Okay, sorry, it just popped up. And then it tells you the difference between them, and there is a difference because, and again, like I said during the mother wound thing, for the people that grew up with like two fathers or two mothers, I mean, which is totally valid and fine. Usually one parent will take on the mother aspect of it, the more nurturing and loving side, and the other one will take on the more protective, um, the traditionally, the actual father versus the actual mother, and mainly like things like there's a reason why they call the planet Mother Earth, and they go Father Time, because there's always a mother and father aspect to things that are in our universe, in our everyday life, right? So a mother is seen as nurturing and caring and loving, and the father is usually seen as supportive and like gonna be there to push you on and encourage you to grow as a person, kind of thing, right? It just depends. I mean, it can be flipped even. You can have a mother and father, but the roles are flipped, kind of thing. So it just is. There is always going to be a mother father aspect. It doesn't necessarily mean a female and a male, right? So you endorse them as mental health professionals and that what constitutes mental health advice. Yeah, exactly, Stefanik. It was an interesting article as it is, but I wasn't going to go into the religious aspect of it. I don't. There is a lot of controversy in the whole focus on the family thing, and I'm not going to go into it here. But yes, I remember reading about it, and I'm just like, no, that's not something I support at all. It was really something not good at all. Anyway, um, I'm sure you can probably Google it and find it online. It's the focus on the family was a. I used to listen to them a lot, by the way, back when I did pursue Christianity. It was like I would say early 2000s when I was doing that, and then after I just realized that it just not wasn't for me. And everybody has a journey in life, right? So it wasn't for me, and I'm not saying it's not for everybody else. I don't care what other people decide to do with their lives, but this is what I've chosen for myself. So yeah. Anyway, but thank you everybody for hanging out and listening. And it was good to see you, Striker, again, and of course Stefanik and Kao. Thank you for being here, and Estelle stepping in, and Yoshi. Thank you for being here and contributing and sharing your story with as well as Striker and Kao. Thank you for sharing your stories, and also Zarek earlier sharing his story. Thank you so much for trusting us. That takes a huge step. That is a huge. You don't understand how much that means to someone like me that you entrust that kind of personal, private moment, in your life with someone that's just like some stranger online kind of thing. So it takes a big step. There's a difference between trauma dumping and sharing your stories, right? Trauma dumping is like out of nowhere, you just go boom, there it is. There's a big pile of literal like steaming pile of whatever you're dealing with in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the room with no, no rhyme or reason. That's what I consider trauma dumping. But if you are sharing your story while everybody's talking about it, that's just like sitting around in a open discussion, open room, and just sharing your experiences, and that's perfectly fine. There's a time and place for everything, right? And so like if I'm in the middle of playing Genshin Impact and you just suddenly come in and just like, this thing happened, and I'm just like, it came out of nowhere. That's trauma dumping. But you know what I mean? I don't
Fraternal
know if that
Hero
makes sense.
reminds everyone to stay hydrated.
Oh, hey, Fraternal Hero. Thank you for the hydrate. How are you? And welcome. I was just about to. We're wrapping up right now. We were talking about the father in here. I'm gonna go to the other screen and just kind of hang out and talk because we don't have to stare at the article anymore.
No. I'm just checking something in Discord real quick. Let's see here.
But yeah. Anyway,
Ba,
I
ba, ba,
hope
ba, ba.
everybody enjoyed that. Or I say enjoy, but it's not like something that's an enjoyable subject. Father wound is a very personal. It's a very personal fight and journey and acceptance of who you are as a person, and all our experiences shape who we are eventually, who we become. So just so you know that, if you are struggling with something and you need to look within yourself and be like, yeah, that is something that applies to me, then I mean, all I can say is that I can be here for you. We can, if you ever need someone to talk to, if I'm free, I will be more than happy to talk about it. Just know that you're not alone. And I know that's like cheesy talk that everybody says you're not alone, and then they leave you hanging. No, I don't want to. I don't want to seem like that. I do really genuinely mean it. If I am able to, in my capacity, I will be there for whoever needs me. Just know that I'm also human. So sometimes there's just sometimes that I'm dealing with something really bad, and I'm just like, can I talk about this later? Because right now is not a good time, kind of thing. So sick. My room's power. Oh no, Yoshi! Did the power, whatever you call it, the little
The the breaker, circuit
the
breaker.
breaker, did the breaker go out? No, I'm sorry, Yoshi. I'm so sorry. Ah, very, very sorry to hear that. But yeah, I hope that everybody came out of this, at least, somewhat. There is a difference again between mother and father wounds, but they are there. They are legitimate issues. But yeah, not really sure, but I just turned it back. Oh, okay. I'm glad that I turned it back on, but hopefully it wasn't just a brownout, because brownouts are pretty annoying, right?
They can be.
Yeah. But yeah, so next week I will be back again with more Genshin, but I really don't know what I'm gonna do in Genshin anymore, to be honest.
You finished all the things.
Oh, wait.
Isn't there another event coming up?
There is. And then Siegeween is the week after that. So there's 2 more weeks. Yeah, there's like 1.5 more weeks until Siegeween comes out, and then I can pull for Siegeween. I'm so excited. The new one right now is the TCG. No, I hate TCG. Oh yeah, I can work on my EU
No.
account. That's right, I can work on that. Thank you, Yoshi. Well, yeah, you said you started one a while ago or something like that. Maybe we can work on it together or something, which is boring. Yeah, I don't like TCG. I don't like TCGs in general because I don't get them. There's too many words and too much to remember. But yeah. Um but yeah, thank you for hanging out and sharing stories and just yeah. I just hope that it was helpful and didn't cause anybody grief or upset or sorrow or anything like that. Um, Sharing your stories just helps us heal. And it's different for everybody. If it doesn't help you heal, if you're not at that place and this is not what that's not your thing, then it's perfectly fine too. I'm happy that you are in a good place and I wish you well. But yeah, not everybody is you, and we're not you and you're not us. So everybody has a different experience, and I think everything is valid and true. Thank you for the conversation. No, thank you for being here, Cal. I really appreciate it again. Thank you again. Let's see here. I know. Hmm. See, this is just kind of a weird transition now because it's like we were just chatting and it's just like, yeah, okay, just chatting, and then where do you go, right? From here. I may just, actually, I may just end it because I'm so tired myself. I think I'm just gonna go for a walk because talk about
Time to touch.
releasing energy. It's just like
gonna
I'm
touch
tired,
grass.
but I want to go for a walk. I wanna
Touch
move my body and just walk.
everybody.
And the rain stopped. It was raining. It was pouring earlier, so it seems like I think the rain is past us now. So yeah, it'll be good. I hope everybody's staying well and the weather treats you well wherever you are, because I know there's some heat waves going on. So stay cool or warm, depending on where you are. I think everywhere in the world is pretty much burning, but yeah, anyway.
Yeah, pretty much. Burning or flooding.
Yeah,
This is
burning or
fine.
flooding, that's pretty much it, isn't
It's
it?
fine.
This is fine. This is totally fine. But yeah, thank you everybody again. I really appreciate your presence here. It really means a lot to me. And I know I keep rambling and stuff, but yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be raiding out, but yeah, I don't know. I don't have the energy to to sit and talk. But anyway, thank you everybody again. Thank you so much. And oh boy. Yeah, those are fun, right? Anyway,
Yes.
I hope everybody's doing well. Have a great rest of your weekend, and hope to see you again sometime next week or whatever. But yeah, take care, everybody. Have a great night. Bye bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Should I go to the credit screen to show? Maybe I should.
Yeah, you can do
Okay.
that.
I'll go to the credit screen.
All right, later, guys.
Bye bye. And there's gonna be raid messages, but just ignore them because I'm not raiding.
Ignore the
anymore.
raid messages.
I'm not raiding.
If you want to spam that in a stream of your choice, go for it.
No, don't.
Confuse
Don't do
the
it.
shit out of people.
Don't. Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it.